Okay, go.
Great. Okay, so I'm still Rob. This is still Space Wurm vs. Moonicorn. So it's a science fantasy space mashup of Dungeon World and Monster Hearts. You have Space Wurm, who rules 2/5 of the galaxy and wins the game when they control the other 3/5. You have Moonicorn, who's trying to escape all of these people who are just chasing them because they're so special and wonderful and delightful. And then you've got all of these people who are in tensions between them. Either they love both of them and can't decide, or they're control some other small part of the galaxy and they don't want Space Wurm to roll over them or something like that. I guess we maybe talk quickly about the tools of the table that everybody's going to be using at the Gauntlet. Obviously, there's an X card. If anything comes up that ever makes you feel uncomfortable or ruins your fun or anything like that, let us know. Send an X in the chat. Do whatever you need to do, and we'll edit that right out. If you've ever got to go, there's an open door policy. I don't have a whole lot for content warnings for this game because so much of it is stuff we're going to generate in the next couple of minutes. And so if something comes up and we're doing that and you're like, I don't want alien spiders, I'm not into that, we can edit that out. But it's a pretty tone-wise, it's a you should be thinking Star Wars, you should be thinking Jupiter Ascending. It's sort of a campy science fiction-y romp. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to see otherwise for tone, if there's some way you'd like to twist that or make it interesting for you.
Jupiter Ascending.
That's the best movie. Yeah, I think that probably covers us. So the first thing we really need to do is figure out who wants to play Space Wurm. And don't all jump at once.
I have a couple of ideas for Space Wurm. So this is my first time doing this, so.
It sounds like you're Space Wurm to me. So if you, I don't know if you managed to get that other document open. We get to figure out the results of one of your moves before anything else happens, because you get to decide. There's 7 pieces of the galaxy that exist that are sort of the fronts and dangers in there: aliens, cybernetics, the Imperial Throne, intergalactic transit, religion, the secret police, and the spice. And before we do anything else, you get to decide which
one of the moves.
It is in one of the moves. Yeah, it's called Space Tyrant. Of those 7 things, you get to decide which 2 Space Wurm absolutely 100% controls and which 2 don't exist in our game. And so that can knock out if somebody's like, I really want to play the Alien Queen, but there's no aliens. We sort of negotiate around that space. But
okay. So you need to pick the 2 society sections or the ones that don't exist.
So why don't you circle the 2 that you control and cross out the 2 that don't exist?
I'm going to choose religion and secret police as what I control.
Cool.
And so I haven't seen Jupiter Ascending. Are there aliens in Jupiter Ascending? Should we get rid of aliens?
There is, but nothing that I like about the movie revolves around aliens. It's more the tone and the science fiction and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was leaning towards getting rid of aliens. Is that cool with everyone?
Yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, Pat, are you there? Oh yeah, you're there. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were frozen.
And for the other one, I think the rest of them are all cool, but maybe Spice if we want to get rid of Spice.
Cool. Done. Sure. So that means the other characters are going to be in some way tied directly either to the Imperial Throne, the Intergalactic Transit, or cybernetics. It's 1 to each of those. So the other, I guess the non-Moonicorn characters will be tied directly to one of those. So just keep that in mind when we sort of go forward, and we'll remind you. So Moonicorn. What's that?
Yeah, the Imperial Throne, cybernetics, and what was the other one?
The other one is interstellar transit.
Okay. Yeah,
there's a list on Space Wurm's character sheet.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Page 5.
Who would like to play Moonicorn? Moonicorn is the cosmic vagabond that is so special. Everybody wants to get a hold of them. They've got such integrity that it holds the galaxy together.
I'll be Moonicorn.
Perfect. And that leaves Fraser and Pat to pick from the giant list of other really cool sounding characters. So
yeah,
best of luck to you.
Pat, do you have something in mind? I have like 3 top picks, so chances are I'll be okay.
Yeah, I think the one that jumped out at me the most was Engine of Destruction.
Sure.
I think I'll be the planet's Messiah then.
Oh, fascinating. All right, give me 1 second and those 2 sheets will appear.
There's a good counterbalance there.
This planet's Messiah and the Engine of Destruction.
Mm-hmm.
I find it really interesting because I've almost had someone always choose the engine of destruction. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pass up. It's so cool looking. That's the wrong one.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So you choose a second move halfway through the game.
Yeah. So this game's going to play out a lot. So in the full campaign, like you're going through all of these battles and figuring out, okay, is Space Wurm slowly conquering the other 3/5 of the galaxy? Is Moonicorn slowly escaping? And so this game is really like one snapshot of the long running TV show. This is one episode that fits in that bigger journey.
So probably like the pilot.
It's probably somewhere in the middle. It's because you all definitely know each other. You're all somewhere in there. It might, and I guess it could shake out one way or the other. We'll find out. I think before we go too far into making other characters, there's some questions I want to know about.
Moonicorn.
Yeah. So it seems pretty clear to me that the engine of destruction is probably related to cybernetics in some way. Does that seem reasonable? Or are you leaning more to?
I'm leaning more towards the Imperial throne.
Oh, I love it, Imperial throne. And this planet's Messiah, I guess, is that more cybernetics or interstellar transport that you have a direct connection to that we'll figure out in a minute?
Probably interstellar transport, because one of the moves is banishing people from your site.
And that leaves Moonicorn with cybernetics. But I want to figure out something about this space religion.
Yeah, so I was thinking of mashing up one quote from Buddhism, life is suffering, and then kind of pushing it through the lens of Stoicism. So it's like a Stoic endurance-based religion.
Cool. So
it's all about what you can survive.
I dig that. So holding on to that thought, is the religious atmosphere of the galaxy one of competing religions? One of every planet has a different religion? A monolithic faith dominates the galaxy? Is there sort of an organized mosaic of religions? Or are there thousands of small cults?
I think probably thousands of small cults sounds more interesting. Everyone agree? Is that easiest to do for a one-shot probably? There's just lots of scattered stuff.
So these aren't all questions about the religion we have to answer right now, but sort of in your other thoughts about it, we should be thinking about what actually counts as a religion. Who benefits, or what benefit does this religion bring to people's lives? What do you think the secrets? what do you think of the secrets the religious authorities keep? What religious or spiritual traditions do you find most comforting? And who are the main opponents of religious institutions? And then in what way does Space Wurm control religion in the galaxy?
Okay.
So maybe percolate on that for a second.
Okay.
And let us know what you think.
Does that mean whatever he comes up with, Moonicorn is automatically on the opposite end of the spectrum?
Not necessarily. I think Moonicorn is not necessarily defined in opposition to Space Wurm, just that they have very different like final endpoints, that they're different journeys they're going on, but they can be friends and allies and lovers and enemies all at once, or somewhere in between. So, Rich, you had some other thoughts when I interrupted you there at the start about your religion. What were you thinking?
So what I was kind of thinking is it's more like a lay organization where people join it. They learn about the idea of strength through endurance, and I think the benefits are passion and power. I think like personal power. I think that's really what the push of the religion is about. I was thinking about kind of stealing from Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, kind of making like the Senecan order or something like that. Order of Seneca was kind of what I was thinking. And maybe there's like 3 idols, maybe a mother, some sort of stranger, and then maybe a child or son. That kind of like those are the 3 lenses that they kind of show the organization through. It's kind of what I was imagining. So what counts as religion, I think, is anything that an organized group of people can, they have a place of worship, and then they gather or speak about that worship, right? Anything like that counts as a religion, I think.
Okay.
And so again, the benefits, strength and passion, that's and endurance, like that's really like what this religion is about. And then what was the third question in the religion part?
What do you think of the secrets that the religious authorities keep?
I think that power definitely moves along with secrecy. I think that the Space Wurm having that secret police is also going to be like a part of that. I think it's like a hand-in-hand kind of reality there.
Sure. And so what part of the religion, what spiritual traditions does Space Wurm find most comforting?
That there's a way to get stronger and move past challenges. That's where he finds comfort in it, right? That he can reflect on these ideals and words and I think he sees himself as like a savior-ish kind of individual.
Okay. Cool. So who are the main opponents of the religious institutions? Who's trying to tear you down?
I'm thinking, your free thinkers, people that don't want to live with rule and order. I think are sort of the opponents of this religion.
Cool.
Maybe there might be an interesting element where, like maybe the aristocracy is more for this religion and the common people are kind of against it. I think that's a thing there.
Yeah, we'll maybe hold on to that question until we get to the Imperial Throne, because I think there's a really interesting sort of idea of how those tie together, and we might get some other characters to weigh in on that. So the other piece you're in absolute control of are the secret police.
Okay.
And so they've also got a couple of questions here. But I should probably just look up in the book. So
yeah, if you want to let me know which page it's on, I can flip to that too.
If you wanted to flip to page 263, there are 5 elements of the secret police that you need to rank. Sorry, but it's 263 of a different book that I don't know if I've linked everybody.
I got it. I got it. So the questions are
so for each of the following aspects. Yeah. So there's 5 aspects to the secret police: their dedication, their dedicated personnel, their legal immunity, their military assets, their spies and informers, and their surveillance technology. Space Worm, you need to, 1 of them is problematic, 2 are average, and 2 are extensive.
I think legal impunity is problematic. And then I think spies and informers and surveillance are extensive. And the other 2 are average.
I think you get 2 extensives.
Yeah, surveillance is
surveillance is another one, yep.
and then spies and informers. Those 2.
I'm with it.
If I control interstellar transport, then maybe I'm constricting access to other parts of the galaxy too, to restrict.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If you want to get around, you have to deal with this hippie.
This planet's Messiah. Oh, I wonder what planet. I'm gonna have to make you name it shortly. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to come back to these questions because I think they're more for other people, and I want to. So let's hear a little bit about maybe cybernetics and how Moonicorn might be tied to that, or at least we'll start there. So cybernetics is page 138 of that PDF.
Let me pull it up 1 second.
Yeah.
Page 138.
Yeah, and so these decisions are a little bit shared more with everybody else because Space Worm doesn't have absolute control of them. But I think we'll let Moonicorn start. So there are 1 or more parts of cybernetics is particularly advanced, either AI, bionics, computers, replicants, or robots.
Mm-hmm.
And which do you think that is?
What were the choices again? I'm still trying to page 138.
Nope. So artificial intelligence,
mm-hmm.
bionics, computers, replicants, or robots?
I'm gonna say AIs.
Interesting. That's so. How do these artificial intelligences make the galaxy better?
So the question, okay, so I think what these artificial intelligences do is, I think that if this is too like abstract or weird, let me know. But I think what they do is they perfectly anticipate like humans' present or anticipated like emotional states, and then like gently soothe them. They like they say the exact words that people need to hear to feel better.
Oh, that's weird, and I like it. Yeah. Fraser, what bothers you about the way these AIs are used?
Probably that it's synthetic. Like they use programming to predict instead of use empathy to like actually comfort. It's like fake comfort. If like they could distill that that program or whatever into a drug, and people could inject it and they would feel happy, but it's not like the normal natural way to get there.
Yeah. So Pat, who's responsible for the most egregious abuses of the AI industry?
The Imperial Throne.
Fascinating.
As long as people are feeling good, they're not going to cause a ruckus.
I'm sorry, what was that, Darth Vader?
And who's making all these AI? Jason, who?
It has to be one of the factions.
It doesn't have to be. It could be we can get more specific. We could just name a company or a person or some noun we're going to revisit.
I think it's going to be an organization that's called, I think it's called Nanny, but it's spelled Nani.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
Oh man, the nanny state. Cool. Get that one. Let's talk about that Imperial Throne for a second, because there seem to be some. So the Imperial Throne is on page 167 for those following along at home. So we need, we're going to rank these from strong, average, or weak. So the player who's tied to the Imperial Throne is going to pick two and rank them, and then we'll sort of get everybody else to do one of the others. But they're legal frameworks, market regulation, military power, popular support, and revenue collection.
Okay. I need to pick one strong and 1 weak, or does it matter?
No, so we're going to end up at the end of the day with two strong, 2 average, and 1 weak, but you get to pick 2 of them.
Okay. I will say they have average military power, but strong popular support.
Yeah, Fraser, do you want to rank another one?
Yeah, revenue
As
strength. I think part of the subjugation is removing the wealth from the population.
cool. And so, Jason, are they weak with legal frameworks or weak with market regulation?
I think they're probably weak with market regulation. I'm imagining this is like, I'm imagining it's like sort of capitalism out of control, right? Like
Sure.
So.
It'll be fine. Give us your money. We'll just the free market controls everything. Too real.
Just talk to your robots, you'll feel better.
So do we have an emperor? Do we have an empress? Who sits at the top of this on this Imperial Throne, Pat?
Wow. Well, since we're going the capitalism route, why wouldn't it be a board of chairmen?
Sure, the chairman.
Yep.
I'd like that. But so how does the chairman and their institution affect your engine of destruction's life on the day-to-day?
Well, they are the creators of the engines of destruction. So, I mean, basically all our directives were written in by, whatever the chairman passed down, their instructions to be written into the directives.
And those come straight from the chairman or from the chairman's office?
Yeah, I imagine they would probably, they might not directly affect, the AI like that and the robots, but I'm sure they have override protocols.
So how pervasive is the image of the chairman in popular culture? Like, is he a
pervasive? I wouldn't think it's pervasive. I think on the outside everything's happy and flourishing, and there's money flowing and changing hands, and I don't think people really pay attention to what nefarious things are going on behind the scenes as long as they're happy.
Right. So he's not really a celebrity.
Right. Most people probably don't even know what he looks like or she looks like.
Sure. Okay. Jason, how does the throne attract and maintain its popular support that it's got that it's so strong in?
So it has popular support, and the question is, how does the throne maintain it?
Yeah, attract and maintain it.
Attract and maintain. Oh, that's good. I think that probably I'd like to suggest that like it is incredibly bureaucratic, and they just like make a job for whoever, right? So
Sure.
it's kind of like one of those things where there's a constant like churn of like opportunities to work for the imperial throne, right? And this sort of like dangling and promising and moving around of people and jobs and positions is kind of how they I don't know if it's like, I don't know like how I think it's more like they just keep everybody busy, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, but just the idea that the chairman will take care of you is really interesting.
Yeah, exactly, precisely. Like it's like everyone kind of expects to always like have a job and have something to, you know, like the imperial throne, the chairman will make sure we have full employment, that kind of thing. Right? So
I didn't even have to try, and it's already cyberpunk.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. Fraser, how does the government's revenue get divided? They got really strong revenue collection, but how do they decide where to spend it?
Maybe if there's a head of the board, then the board is the people that actually distribute the wealth.
Okay.
And it's probably, yeah, like some kind of aristocracy. Like they probably divide it amongst, like, because this is planet spanning, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
One planet? Right. Okay. So maybe there's like a head household on each planet, and they give the money based on the sort of how much favor you curry with the crown. So basically, if you want more money on your planet, you're going to have to, you know, supplicate yourself to the throne.
Pat, are you on? Do you have page 169 you could look at?
Yeah.
So there's a list of some really cool assets that the Imperial Throne might have, like garden worlds full of people, gas giants with orbital hydrogen skimming stations. Do you want to pick one or two of those just to paint us a picture of what some like typical assets of the Imperial Throne might be?
Okay. I got to go with science worlds where new technologies are developed. And let's go with the asteroid belt mining colonies.
Cool. Okay. Let's talk about interstellar transport next. And then I'm forgetting one probably. Maybe not. So interstellar transport's on page 191. And the first thing it wants us to do is, for each of the following aspects of interstellar transport, choose a level of regulation: monopolized, restricted, or unprotected. And so we're gonna start with Fraser, who's gonna pick one and give it a rank, and then we'll just sort of go around and everybody gets to rank one.
What page is that, Rob?
191. And the four elements are knowledge of transport routes and travel conditions, mail delivery, policing of the transport routes and borders, and transportation technology.
I think I'm going to monopolize policing of transport routes, because what I'm thinking in my head is how it works is my main planet is sort of like Ego, the living planet, and all of these star hubs that enable transport are like its pollen, so that you're going through like parts of it that it allows you to do. And that's how we restrict travel is basically everybody needs the pollen of this main planet, which I'm a part of, and propagate in order to get around.
Yeah, that belongs in a comic book. I dig it.
Yeah.
That's really good. It's really amazing.
Rich, do you want to pick one of these and tell us if it's monopolized, restricted, or unprotected?
I'm going to take mail delivery, and I'm going to say that it's unprotected. Like there's something about the way this universe is set up that people moving stuff around is a big, dangerous deal. A lot of smugglers, freelancers, different corporations having to move stuff back and forth. Like that's like the vulnerability of transportation.
Almost like a cowboy Wild West outside of like where the pollen has grown, and you don't want to piss off the living planet, but between that, it doesn't care.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Yep.
Pat, how do you feel about the knowledge of the routes or the transport technology?
I would say the knowledge of the routes is restricted.
Who knows about it?
Well, of course, those that control interstellar transport
Sure.
try to keep tight lids on it, but I'm sure there's leaks.
This living planet needs a name that's awesome.
Yeah, I came up with Gallimaufry.
Gallimaufry it is. That's the one.
It's an antiquated word that means a confused jumble or medley of things.
I just thought it was Gallifrey, but with a moth in the middle.
It's the Star Wars Gallifrey. That's
Yeah.
Transport technology, Jason. Is that monopolized, restricted, or unprotected?
I'm going to go with unprotected. I want to suggest that like there's a whole like subculture and scene of like people who like put together like like chrome rigs and stuff. Like
Yeah.
so.
Cool.
That's awesome.
So I want to jump back to the secret police for a second, because I want to know. So why are the secret police so powerful?
So what I was kind of picturing is maybe there's a group of people that gathers together like orphans from all over, and they take them to this one really dangerous planet, and there's kind of a Darwinian process there. And the ones who make it to the facility are the ones that get trained to go into the secret police. And then they're dispersed all over. They just wander, enforcing the, I'm guessing the policies of the Imperial Throne or the corporations, like that. Maybe that's how they work.
Right. So is Space Wurm the head of the secret police? Are they paint me the picture of how they fit into controlling the religion and also controlling the secret police. Where are they? How are they regarded compared to the chairman?
So I think the secret police are something that kind of grew up like magistrates or samurai kind of idea that the throne needed to kind of make sure that things are carried out the way they need them to be carried out. And so they did this by collecting these people that aren't connected to any families, any houses, anybody, and putting them all in one place and growing them up and kind of programming them basically.
Do they have a name that's not the secret police? Like, is there because when you said samurai, that made me think of is there a class of people that these are? Or are they sort of spies and they're blending into society and they don't refer to themselves as?
I was kind of wondering it might be cool if they always wear like masks. Like no one actually knows what the secret police look like when they're enforcing things because they have these masks that they can kind of take on and off very easily. In my head, I was kind of picturing like Star-Lord's, the way Star-Lord's mask works, where it kind of like tap a button and it comes into place. That's kind of what I was picturing. But that makes them really dangerous, right? Because they could be anyone and then they could be masked. And when they're masked, they're kind of represented as like a class of people.
I dig it. I dig it. Yeah. So what is it? What's the? I want to ask this one to Pat. What's it about the secret police that scares your character?
I think it's the fact that they could be anybody is the scariest part about it all. They could pretty much infiltrate anywhere, but unless they're donning that mask, you don't know they're even part of the secret police. They're probably that good at infiltrating things.
Yeah. So I think I want to ask this planet's Messiah. How have the secret police negatively impacted your life?
I think since we've restricted access, when they're angered, they have been known to destroy those gates, which are a part of the planet, so it hurts it. I think they thought it was just like a piece of technology out there that would allow for space transport, and not realizing that it's part of like a larger organism. And they probably still don't know. So maybe there's some fear there that they still like it's truly they don't understand it, so they destroy it.
Right. So I guess just to circle back to a thing though. So we know that there are no aliens.
Mm-hmm.
So Gallimaufry definitely isn't an alien.
Yeah, it could be a giant machine at the core of the planet or something.
Yeah, like an organic AI kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to get that twisted in my head, just so we were, or we don't know. I dig that.
Mm-hmm.
So which one of Moonicorn's friends and family have been affected by the secret police?
I think it was my little brother.
Perfect.
Do I need to tell you how? Or
you could name them. You could do any of these things.
I think my little brother's name is going to be. I'm just going to choose a name from the Moonicorn list, Johnny. And I think that Johnny was. What did we say about male? Did we say male was unrestricted?
Male is unrestricted, unprotected. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think something that happens is that people, because people are so hoodwinked by these like emotion AIs or whatever, or they don't have time to properly feel their own feelings.
Yeah.
I think there's a whole snail mail letter writing thing that people do to make like genuine connections with one another, and the AIs have no control over that or insight into it because it's on paper and pen. And so I think Johnny was like running some of that like mail, right? And I think he got caught by the secret police.
Oh man, a mail runner.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was like, you could say he's almost like a Blade Runner, but a mail runner.
I dig it. Okay. Yeah. So some of that might have felt a little out of order, and maybe it was, but I guess we can sort of take a look at your character sheets, go through and pick all the things it wants you to pick if you haven't already. I think you can mark it up in Google Sheets there, however you like, if you wanted to figure out what your stats were and which moves you had where. And I got to think about a thing quick, and then we'll circle back in 1 second.
So Space Wurm has no stats?
Space Wurm has power.
Just power.
So yeah.
Okay.
Right, and so I guess there are some differences between this and regular Dungeon World or Monster Hearts or things. Space Wurm just has power. That's their only stat, and it depends contextually on they're going to spend it as they use their moves, and then need to go back to places where they're powerful to get it again. Moonicorn has integrity, so their stat starts at 2, and as they do more and more things like follow through on their promises, their integrity goes up. But if they betray or lie to somebody, it drops down to 0 and you got to start again. And there's no like basic moves or other sheets. All the moves you can do are on your sheet, and everybody's are a little bit different. Right, like this planet's Messiah is choosing between their vision and their faith. And the Engine of Destruction has Destruction, Engine, and Science as its stats.
Okay.
How do I make a circle?
There's a shape thing on the top. So there's the text box, and then there's an image, and then there's shapes.
Yeah, but when I click the rectangle or whatever, it just fills it in automatically.
Oh,
and I want it to be clear so I can see the.
Yeah. That's an option somewhere. Oh, there's a fill option to make it transparent. So once you click on your circle, once it's full of stuff, you can go make it transparent.
There we go.
Oh.
Okay. I have a message to deliver. Oh. Okay. And then after that, we'll do bonds, I'm guessing?
Yep.
Okay. I think I'm good until then. I don't see anything else I need to do.
No, it's all pretty simple.
Yeah.
Do I need to do something special to see slides 5 and 6? They're kind of not showing up.
Fascinating. They totally should be. Maybe try closing it and reloading it.
Well, 5 and 6 are just mine anyway, aren't they? Or 5 is me.
5 is the planet's Messiah. 6 is the Engine of Destruction.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a name for you, Fraser?
Oh, that would be a good thing to come up with. I'm pretty much done.
No more choices. You got this.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
I think I'm ready to go. Do we do bonds together? I guess we're gonna.
Yeah, we will. And so there, I think the general thought is you can have as many bonds as you like. You just make sure you're not having the same bond with two of the same people.
Got it.
Okay. So everybody sort of ready to talk about bonds and things and how they know each other and what links them together?
Sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's start with Space Worm because they're the easiest. So to give us, I guess, introduce us to Space Worm. Give us the whole deal. What what's it like to be Space Worm?
So Space Worm is the chosen scion of the Senecan Order. So the religion, big part of who he is as a being, a person. So the titles are Holiness or Your Grace, because I'm greedy, so I picked two. I think he may have started out as one of these orphans and kind of rose out of the secret police. I'm not sure which way I want to go. I don't know if he was religious first or he was sort of an orphan first. Regardless, he kind of ended up controlling both things through the propagation of the strength and passion.
Mm-hmm.
He's very oratory. He likes to speak. He likes to be heard. He makes lots of proclamations and appearances. I see him kind of doing rallies and whipping people into a frenzy over the religious element, over the strength and overcoming adversity kind of platform.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I think he's feared, but he doesn't view himself as feared. He views himself as strong. And those who are fearful of him are probably guilty of something. And that's kind of how he occupies himself.
Sure, and I bet the secret police confirm their guilt all the time.
Constant surveillance. Their guilt is very clear to me, transparent.
Awesome. Yeah, what special move did you pick?
Actually, I took the Vader to start. So when I command underlings, if I make an example out of them, I can shift it from a 7-9 to a 10+, or from a 6- to a 7-9.
Not a good person. So and you have a bond. Yours are pretty straightforward. What do you want to tell us about your bonds?
Yeah. So Moonicorn is always a treasure to me. I chose Fraser's.
What makes Moonicorn a treasure? What do you treasure about them? And maybe actually we'll hold on to that till they introduce themselves, and then that'll make more sense. So I want to jump back to Bond.
Okay.
So what do we have?
And so for the Messiah, I also view him as a treasure. I'm thinking that this whole idea of the living planet, the pollen, all of these things that Fraser was talking about, I think that Space Wurm recognizes that they're very important, and Xerxes really views them as necessary for the universe to be better, for the galaxy to be better. And then Pat's engine is clearly a currency to be used to fulfill whatever needs to be fulfilled.
Cool. Let's hear about Bolivar, our Moonicorn.
Yeah, so my name is Bolivar. I am a Moonicorn. I've chosen for my gear a guitar and a lightsaber. My looks are I chose rainbows, rock and roll, and a white mane. I think that Bolivar is I think my whole thing is like I want to teach the galaxy to love, right? Like through the power of my music, through the power of my art, and I want to help them find their true emotion, their true feelings, right? And so yeah, I think I wear kind of skin tight silver rocker outfits, and I have rainbow tattoos and a big white mane. And let's see what else about Bolivar. I chose for my special move Fortress of Solitude. I think I have a lair on an abandoned crystal planet, and so I go to my crystal planet and sit in my crystal grotto or whatever and recuperate.
What's it called?
Let's see. Let me think about that. I'm gonna see how cheesy I want to be here, how 80s I want to be here. I'm gonna go super super on the nose in 80s. It's called Crystallis. So, and let's see, what else do you need to know about me? I think my whole thing is just basically, I think I view myself as this. I view myself as this person who's going to bring true feelings to the universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
No love. So
yeah.
So do you have the rainbow hair?
No, my mane is white. I have white hair. But
Oh,
I have rainbow tattoos and markings and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I haven't done Bond yet. I was going to wait till.
No, I think that's fine for now. So let's hear a little bit about this planet's Messiah. The planet being Gallimaufry.
Yeah, and the name of my character is Aridness, and I have a message to deliver, and the message is redemption. So I'm thinking I would come into play. I'm thinking maybe in the show that this is maybe some of the interstellar rings have been attacked, and I've sort of been birthed in order to tell people hey, stop hurting us. Basically, I've got my stats are faith and vision. I'm really good at faith. I'm not good at vision, which I like. And the move I took was abjuration. When you banish someone from your presence, roll plus faith. And then I wish that I had literally every other move.
They're all so good.
Yeah. And I think that's it for me. I don't see gear or anything like that, or a look section, but
yeah, if you've got thoughts on what you might have for gear or what you might look like, you can let us know. There's they can give you a lot of options though.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have gear. I'm picturing myself to be normally the pollen or whatever are these rings of interstellar transport to lean into Cowboy Bebop stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a bee that travels from the pollen to pollen, and my end goal is to deliver this message of stop attacking us, essentially. You're hurting our penises. And what I look like, I would like to imagine it does sort of resemble a sort of weird interstellar machine pollen thing that can take human form. And it would be sort of, if I could be androgynous, that'd be cool. Like when the sun is hitting me, I look female, and when the moon is hitting me, I look like male, that kind of thing.
Cool. What pronouns does Aridness use?
I don't think they care at all about that. That's earthly constructs.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's hear about our engine of destruction.
All right. The engine of destruction's name is PE 3.7. Stands for Peace Enforcer 3.7. But you could call it 3.7 for short. The reason it is a 3.7 because it has jet propulsion, which is the move I chose. Let's see. As far as gear is concerned, it has extensible limbs, force field, and a projectile weapon of a flamethrower. So it can fly and shoot flame, which is why it's a Peace Enforcer. I think these were mainly designed as riot control, perhaps used to herd the crowds into whatever area the chairman needs us or needs the crowds. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as the way it looks, I imagine it looks kind of like the body. I imagine these things are pretty big, maybe 7-8 foot tall when it's standing. But like the body's like a wedge, and then like all the limbs and the head can come and close within the wedge, and the wedge can kind of take off like a jet and fly around.
Cool. Yeah, so why don't we sort of go in backwards order? What's one of 3.7's bonds with one of the other characters?
I think I would imagine. Let's see. Let's go with this one. Which one do you think would make the best robot and why? And I think that would be Space Wurm, because Space Wurm has a process to get things done, and he follows it, and that's the robot way. You follow the process.
Awesome. Yeah, let's go to Aridness. Do you want to have a bond with somebody?
It seems like who will help you free your people from their bondage makes sense for maybe Moonicorn.
Sure.
They seem sort of aligned with that. Moonicorn.
Yeah, one for Moonicorn.
I'm going to say I owe a debt to Xerxes, Space Worm. I think I owe a debt to Space Worm because I think he helped Johnny. I think Johnny was going to be executed for his mail running, illegal activities, and he and Xerxes stepped in. So.
Awesome. So we know Moonicorn is treasure, but why is Moonicorn treasure?
So what I was thinking is, I think that his presentation of love and unity, it sounds like unity, right, Jason? That's kind of what you're heading for, is like music and love and unity.
Yeah, I want people to help. I want people to understand love. That's my overarching goal.
Right. At the end of the day, Moonicorn, I want the same thing: peace for everyone.
Cool. And why don't you tell us?
I'm also a big fan.
So
the Messiah. So Eurydice is a treasure clearly because it has come to help things. There might even be a prophecy that I might be holding on to in the Senecan order and attaching that to Eurydice's message of redemption.
Mm-hmm.
And then P 3.737 is a currency because the Imperial Throne is there to create that unity, whether they want to or not. And I will use whatever means necessary to kind of get the people to where they need to be. But things will get worse before they get better.
I dig it. Yeah, so Moonicorn have another bond they'd like to.
Yeah, maybe one more. Let me see. Who have you heard the most stories about? I think I've heard the most stories about Aridness. Fraser, we just like recap like Aridness's like sort of ideology or mission again for me.
They were like created in order to send a message to the pretty much everybody to stop like attacking, or maybe even, I don't know exactly what they do, but they're either taking advantage of interstellar travel or perhaps hurting the gates in some way, like forcing themselves through it or something like that. And the mail or whatever that I'm delivering is stop that.
Okay, so maybe I think maybe I've just heard stories about that then. Yeah.
And does Aridness have another one, or are we?
Yeah, I've got one for each person, I think.
Cool.
Who did you grow up with? I was thinking 3.7. Like, I kind of like the idea that one of the gates that crafted me, like the planet used one of the gates to kind of birth me out of, and while I was being crafted, it was close to the same place that 3.7 was being crafted. So in my mind, we grew up together.
Uh-huh.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
do they know about that?
I don't know, Pat, is that interesting to you, one way or the other?
Yeah, that'll work. I got a bond for Ridness as well. So, but you could do your next bond first.
Okay, but do you know about that, or is that just something I like project onto you, basically?
Do I know that we were created in the same place? Is that the question?
Yeah, like were you aware of me being created close by?
Yeah, I could go along with that.
Sure.
I could go along with that.
And then the last one is, who do you think should be following the path you walk? Is Xerxes.
So I should be following who?
The path that I walk, which I am thinking is the message that I'm delivering, which is stop hurting me.
Yeah. All right. I dig that. I'm going to take a 5-minute break, grab some more water, and then I think we're good to get this rolling.
Do you want me to go ahead and do my last two bonds?
Oh, sorry. Did I miss you? I'm the worst.
It's all good, man.
Yeah. Let's do your last two bonds.
I believe that Moonicorn knows a secret to my construction.
Oh, awesome.
Somehow, somewhere, maybe that'll turn up in play. And then the character that reminds me of my creator is actually Aridness. All the peace officers were created to stop riots, basically, and stop people from attacking, and that's Aridness's whole message, to get people to stop attacking. What is it, Gallimaufry? So that's why Aridness reminds me of the creator. Almost the same purpose.
Cool. And if people have, like while we're on break, if people have ideas about what they're doing to the gates to harm them, I am completely open to whatever ideas people have.
Yeah, I mean, almost like putting rogue AI, like infecting them almost with other AI is the one.
That's what I was thinking. Like, people would have to hack them in order to make use of them, and hacking them makes kind of lowers their immune system, because they're sort of technological and biological at the same time.
Yeah.
Is there maybe a connection between that hacking and people trying to get mail to each other? Like, is that maybe the impetus is communication?
Instead of asking for Yeah, like maybe there's a procedure or like a way of consent to use the gates, and instead of doing that, they instead hack it for their own purposes, and they aren't aware that like these are entities that they're essentially stealing their identities from, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it can sort of tie into a little bit of that. I don't know if it's cowboy culture or like the biker-esque culture of people who are tricking out their own interstellar vehicles and things are also working on their own like ways to hijack these pieces, and
Yeah.
it's a little bit chaotic over there.
Sure. That sounds cool.
Cool. I'll be back in a couple of seconds, and then we're good to go.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're maybe still waiting for Jason.
Yeah. Oh, there. And before we get going, I just want to say, if people can't tell, I'm really into this.
Yeah, no, I appreciate with you sticking with it. That's why I booked the 4 hours, because it requires so much world building to get into one piece. But I'm excited to see where this goes.
Me too.
Yeah, so we start with Space Worm in the very first scene. Space Worm, what's your base look like? What's your place of power?
So I'm picturing there's like this Romanesque Colosseum sort of place called the Praxium, where people are invited to come from all over the world to interface with the Senecan Order.
Okay. Is that the major feature of the planet it's on, or is it on the same planet as the Imperial Throne, or is it, where is it in relation to some of the other bits?
Oh, I think it's definitely on the same planet as the Imperial Throne. Maybe, like, do we want like one massive, or do you want like a place for like multiple continents?
I think I like multiple continents.
Yeah, I think so. If the Imperial Throne's on one side of the planet, this is on the exact opposite side of the planet.
I like it. Let's call that. Let's call that planet Illiston, if that works for anybody.
Works for me. I didn't mention, by the way, Xerxes is always dressed in head-to-toe platinum or head-to-toe obsidian. Never both, never any variation.
Yeah, so the Praxian, that was what you called it, right? Your
the Praxium, yeah.
The Praxium.
Yeah, that's like the building.
Yeah. So in the Praxium, I guess what my other question then is, of the other characters, who might be likely to be near the Praxium? Is that like, is 3-7 working for Space Worm? I guess the only one who can't be here is Moonicorn, but is there any chance?
Right. So I was thinking a starting scene that might be really interesting is Xerxes is giving like a State of the Senecan Order speech, and he's invited several dignitaries from all over, and 3-7 is the representative of the throne on the stage next to him, and so is Eurydice, and maybe there's a handful of other people too, or kind of having like a town hall kind of thing.
Okay.
In front of everyone, and I'm kind of like mediating or hosting it because I want unity for everyone. And I'm looking for every opportunity to insert my platform into the conversation.
Right. Yeah. So
I was thinking that might be
there's this big televised event, and you're in the middle of it. Like, give us 10 seconds of the speech that's sort of wrapping it up, bringing it all together. You've got, I guess, is 3-7 on stage, or are you more of an off the stage sort of robot?
I imagine I would be. Yeah, I don't think I'd be standing on the main stage, like in the middle.
Okay.
I'd definitely be off to the side somewhere. I'd be in the cut.
And is Eurydice taking part of this in this like unity rally?
Sure. Well, if you are trying to
I think it was more of a debate. I think it was more of a debate. Like
Okay.
debate. Okay, sure. And Rich, there's some like music or something coming through on your end, or
there's someone's doing something there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can be debating. I'm down for debate.
Sure. I think probably Apollyanna Savicki is the chairman. Maybe she's the one you're debating, having a conversation about. And maybe just even a hosted conversation about interstellar travel, and hey, let's meet the Messiah of Gallimaufry. It's so much, and show how great our connections are and how much we're working together.
Right.
I think in the middle of it, Space Worm, you get a piece in your ear that sort of starts speaking. It's one of your spies. There's an informant from, or you're getting what's your lieutenant? Who's your second in command? Who's always been by your side?
I'm thinking her name is Alana.
Cool. Holiness, there's something really important that you need to know. Going to tell you, not if you want me to tell you while you're on stage, or if you can get off the stage quickly.
Tell me now.
Renzo Volante has seized the capital. The chairman is out. If they come back to the other side of the planet, I don't think it'll be good. But there's been a hostile takeover over here.
I see. Thank you. Let me know as soon as news is available.
I'll keep you informed as soon as I can. Sitting there on the stage, knowing that you've got a Pollyanna sitting across from you who could be, taken out at any minute, or certainly a target, what do you do?
I look for an excuse to sort of call an interlude in the ongoing conversation, right? And I ask the Madam Chairwoman if she can, if she'd meet with me privately off stage. There seems to be something I need to discuss with you. And I actually invite the other attendees of the debate to come with us.
Yeah, cut to a couple of minutes later, the stage is off. You've got this private meeting set up with Apollyanna and Aridnus.
All right, and so I can appreciate that I might have access to information sometimes quicker than either of you. It appears that there's been an incident at the capital on the other side of the planet. Illiston seems to be in some sort of deposition right now. And you could be in danger, Apollyanna.
I have to get back there.
If you do that, you could very well be killed. Allow me to protect you.
I mean, it's not... They can't take over like this. It's not right.
The rightness does not matter. The action's happening. We must take steps. And you must survive. Otherwise, there will never be a way to correct what is occurring.
Okay, I'll do it. Tell me what you need me. Tell me what you think I should do. And I think that's sort of the end of that scene. Is Apollyanna definitely doing whatever Space Worm recommends?
Okay, which would be to rush her off to some secret locale.
Yeah. Cut to the surface of Gallimaufry. What's that look like? What's the general feel of this place?
I think really natural, like overgrown. I think it looks like it has no purpose until you're actually within it. From the outside, it just looks like a tangled mess of overgrown earth and trees and stuff like that. But all the trees are different, right? Because it's space, like purple trees and stuff like that. But yeah, there is like a nature's path there, but most people would not see it.
Do people live there? Are there communities?
No, I think the actual people are the interstellar transport rings, but
Okay.
people don't know that.
Right, and so most like human-looking people are not invited to the surface. So
Yeah.
how did Moonicorn get an invite to meet Aridness there?
Maybe Moonicorn was the first person to access a gate with consent.
The first
Instead of
person or
hacking it.
the? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like maybe the invitation is implied for everybody through the gate if you can use it properly. But Moonicorn was the first one to actually do that instead of hacking it to make the gate take them to where they want to go. They took the logical conclusion of where it brings you naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking like as the pollen goes outward, the planet is actually moving through space. Like that's how it moves itself as well as how, it propagates itself.
So Moonicorn, how did you know to do that?
Well, I think I have a question, Fraser, about this sort of like mechanics of what this looks like these gates. Like, what do they look like? What does it mean to pass through them?
I'm thinking totally just Cowboy Bebop. They're just really round, very technical looking white technology gates. And basically, if you use it properly, it's like Star Trek where you beam into like faster than light travel to get someplace.
Okay, and where do people normally go? Like when why would we use these gates?
I think they just hack them to get to planet.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Normally,
All right.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so I'm on Kalamafri right now, having gone through one of these gates consensually.
Yeah, instead of hacking it, you somehow discovered that there's like a natural way to use this thing, and the end destination is always on Galamofrey.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry. I just need to kind of unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
I think so I think the way I managed to do it is do these gates have like AIs, Fraser? Like are they
Yeah, I'm thinking the AIs are actually like when I fulfill my own purpose in life, I become one of these gates as well. So all of these gates were once people.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. I think what I did, I think the way that I don't so yeah, I didn't hack it. I mean, I think like when people hack them, I think what they normally do is they like I think they kind of like manipulate like knowledge of like the gate's like past life. Okay. So like whatever the gate was was before, like knowing that you can kind of like manipulate it, right? I think the reason why I got through consensually is because I just I think that like the gate for Galamofrey like feels like very, very like I think it has like a very like deep, intense pain memory, and I was able to pass through because I just assumed that pain for myself.
Oh no, what's it feel like?
I think it's confusing because I think it's really ancient. I think it's really ancient, but I think that like I experience it purely and like it's a real thing, right? And so even though it's like this intense like sorrow and pain, I think there's a certain like high that comes with it because it's real, but I think it's probably pretty confusing. I think it involves like lots of like ancient things that just that just mean nothing to me, right? So.
You touched an obelisk in Mass Effect.
Yeah, essentially, right? Yeah, it's the same idea. So, but I think that was the thing, though. Like, right, like everybody wants to manipulate the gates. I think I just like accepted whatever the gates like deal was. So.
Right, and where it wanted to take you,
right,
and where it wanted to take you was stepping out of the light onto Galamofrey.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, a Moonicorn appears in front of you. What do you do?
I think I start
and Pokeball at me.
Yeah, gotta catch them all the Moonicorns. Yeah, I think I raise my eyebrows and start, and maybe I attempt to flee in fear at first, even.
Can you just tell me like what you look like again? Like what am I looking at here? What am I seeing?
Um, I think the sun is shining on where we are right now, so I think I'm like, I'll just lean into the forest aspect and just be like a very ephemeral or ethereal looking woman in like a dress, basically, right now.
Are you an authority figure? Like, would this character count as an authority figure for the purpose of my Moonicorn move, Rob?
I'm not sure what your move does, so let's look at it.
It says when you first encounter an authority figure or institution, you have to do one of the following, your choice, and it's
Yeah,
like
they're absolutely an authority figure. That's for sure.
so you have to just reveal something, one of these things to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me look at that.
Or the GM does it, but yeah.
Reveal a
the
lack
GM
of
does it.
responsibility on the part of the authority or by the authority. Reveal a resource the authority is lacking, or reveal corruption within this authority.
I think a resource would be great because I'd love to have a reason to talk to this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So- But I think Rob is supposed to choose it. It says the GM. So
Well, I think a resource is great, but I think when it because it's another player character who's this authority. Yeah. Do you have is there a resource that is apparent to Moonicorn?
Maybe the resource is what you've just gone through. Like maybe it sort of
So
implants.
it's a resource you're lacking, something you need.
Oh, something we need.
Mm-hmm.
Can peace be that? Like, could
It absolutely can, because so Moonicorn is here. There's this lovely moment. There's this ethereal, beautiful creature just the moment off, and then suddenly there's like two big thumps in the sky, and one of the gates shatters, and there's this like torn space for a minute as 5 or 6 large ships fly through the gate before it closes.
Oh, okay. So that's probably why I stopped running. I start running, and then that happens, and I probably cry out in pain and collapse.
And I mean, they're descending quickly, and they're sort of looks like they're coming to your location. What do you do?
I want to. I don't know if this is like gonna work out, but I want to do abjuration. I want to banish them from my presence.
Sure.
Even though they're giant spaceships, but I use the force, I guess. So, yeah, and it says 10+ they must leave, but you may not advance towards them. 7 to 9, they don't have to leave, but they cannot get any closer as long as you concentrate on them.
Yeah. So give us a roll. Tell us what you.
Okay. Can I roll in here? Yeah. Oh, no, I can't. Okay.
If you have dice in front of you, that works too.
Oh, yeah. I've got
I have a roll
that.
for your party room too. I can drop it in the
Yeah, I destroy it. It's 12.
So what's it look like when they aren't able to get any closer? So they've blown up the gate, they're flying towards the planet, right towards you, and they stop. What's that look like?
Yeah, I cry out in pain at first, and then I slowly gather myself together and stand up, and I look at them, and I think my eyes flare blue, and my entire person lights up in like a black flame that is like undying flame that doesn't hurt my body, and the ships themselves get this black flame that doesn't harm them, but it stops like their engines from working essentially.
Yeah. Okay. So they're stopped and they're floating around the planet for a moment, trying to recover. 3-7. You're on one of these ships. You're on a secret mission given to you by the chairman.
Okay.
Find, the chairman has got some ends. They know that if Renzo Valenti gets Moonicorn to like speak out on their side, gets Ridness to speak out on their side, they're going to be, their new government's going to be really strong, and you need to stop that, whatever it takes.
Okay. So perhaps the chairman knew that Moonicorn used one of the gates. I don't know if there was like a signal or something that went out. So we were kind of forced to hack this gate to stay on, Moonicorn's tail, to try to get to Moonicorn before Renzo got to him.
Yeah, so these ships are definitely Renzo's ships, but I think you've got snuck onto them.
Okay, I got you. All right, so yeah, I got snuck onto him because I just look like an inanimate object when I'm within my wedge. It just looks like a 6 foot tall wedge, like it's like nobody knows exactly what it is. It's just sitting there in the corner of the cargo hold. And as soon as the engines kick off and there's like a shutter that goes through the ship, I come to life. My legs come out, and they kind of got like tracks on the bottom where I can roll or I can walk. And the arms come out and the head comes up, and I begin looking for a way off the ship to get to the planet's surface.
Their engines are about to come back online, and they're forced to go in the other direction. The easiest, fastest way is just blow a hole. You're a fucking engine of destruction. Make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will do that.
Also, you said that when they came through, it destroyed a gate, right? And since the gate is the closest to Gallimaufry, it means it's the youngest one, so you've essentially just killed a child, just so you know.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Do you want to use strength to destroy this ship on your way out?
No, because I don't want to give away.
Sure.
That something odd's happened. Maybe they'll think it was just a mechanical malfunction.
Okay.
And keep on moving on the other way. So I just want to use my flamethrower and put it in cutting torch mode and cut a hole in and fly out.
Awesome. The engines come back online just as your jets sort of take you away from it. I had this really cool image a minute ago when you guys were talking about Aridness and 3-7 almost being siblings, being like the Wi-Fi of them growing was almost meshing. Mm-hmm. Like what's it feel to have that signal of, oh, your brother's signal strength is online, or your spiritual sibling is connected. What's that feel like for Aridness?
I think it feels like an ebb in the pain, like that. I think the flame that surrounds her at the moment is in part due to the pain that they're feeling, and that's what gives them the power to rebuke these two ships. Mm-hmm. But my sibling is able to come through because their very presence it sort of infects that with a little bit of love.
Mm-hmm. So Moonicorn, all that just happened around you, and not a lot. It's just been a weird couple of minutes. It's been walked through this lovely portal. That was nice. Strange creature, world explodes, sky explodes around you. Now there's things jetting around and people looking crazy. On top of that, you've got this message on your phone that's what sort of communicator does Moonicorn have? What's their preferred style of receiving a phone call?
I think I probably have I think I have probably I think it's probably like a crystal. I think it's something from Crystallis.
Of course it is. Why?
It's like a crystal, and I think it I think it's tuned to be able to receive signals and things like that.
Mm-hmm. So. This crystal glows, and there's a face that appears in it. It's a woman. She's dressed in a sort of space business suit. And she says, "Oh, Bolivar, thank you for receiving this call. Yeah, since we managed to connect, I know you're down there in Gallimaufry."
Do I know this person?
It's sort of put a face to a name. That'd be a great move for this one. I think you might know them as a I don't know how. I'm going to say no. Her name is Rain Aaron. She introduces herself.
Okay.
And it's pretty clear she works for Renzo Volante.
Okay. Remind me who Renzo is. What's his name?
Renzo Volante is the guy who just hostily took over the Imperial throne. Ousted the chairman.
The chairman. Okay. Ousted the chairman. Got it. Okay.
Bolivar, my name is Rain. We sent you these lovely ships to carry you back to Illiston, the planet. We'd love for you to do a benefit concert for us. There's so much hate in the galaxy right now. We just need some love to bring it all together. And Moonicorn and Bolivar, you're the best person to do that.
I think like I have like tears streaming down my eyes because I just walked through the pain gate, right?
Right, yeah, for sure. It's a hell of a fucking.
Right, yeah. I have like tears streaming down my eyes, and I'm like, Rain, I really want to help you. And I also really, really appreciate you saying that. But you have to know that I'm in kind of a situation right now. I'm just like, I think I just like break down, and I just get red faced and I break down, and maybe I even like drop the crystal and I kind of sink to my knees, and like she can just see me like on my knees in this.
Yeah, and I think her face is staring up at you. And there's a moment where it's clear that there's an AI telling her the perfect words to say to get to you.
Exactly right. Yeah.
and it's like, Bolivar, you're the only one who can make this pain stop. There's a galaxy-wide pain, and we've got the tools to help you make all of it stop, to make everybody work together again. Just ask Aridness to send you to us, and we will take you to where you can do the most good right now.
I think normally I'm pretty good at like calling bullshit on AI words, right?
Sure.
But not right now. I think I'm like really subdued by this like pain, right? And I kind of like turn and I look at the crystal, still like tears streaming down my eyes. And like, I've heard stories of Aridness. And is Aridness still around, incidentally? Or
yeah, they're just over there with blue flames or whatever's coming out of them, stopping a whole bunch of ships. Yeah. They're having a moment, just like over there.
I think I put two and two together, and I look and I realize that's who it is. And I'm like, maybe I've heard about like Aridness's powers or something.
They were on TV a minute ago.
Yeah. And I look at Rain and I say, I kind of nod my head. And out of character, what does she want me to do?
She wants you to just like get on those ships that are in the sky somehow and come back with them.
Oh, with Aridness.
Yeah, or not. You're more important.
Okay, got it.
Both of them would be great. If they had two in one blow would be perfect for them.
Yeah, I think I won't. I'm not just gonna get on the ships. I think I want to meet Aridness, and I want to do that. So, I just won't. I just like turn to her and I say no, I can't. I'm here for a reason. I have this gate sent me here for a reason, and I'm gonna figure out what it is. And I'm still a little like choked up or whatever. Let me just work things out here. And then I kind of like stand up and I pocket the crystal.
If you need there's like an if you need anything, and then you pocket it and it disconnects the call.
Right. Yeah. Disconnect. Yeah.
And so the ships that are powerless in the sky, you can see as they slowly start to fall beyond the horizon. Like there'll be a whole other day before they get back to this side and their engines are recharged and they can leave. For the moment, they're just in space circling Gallifrey, but they're gone.
Okay.
For signal whatever doesn't work, they're out there. Space Wurm. I want to jump back to you for a second.
Okay.
So your Alana, your second in command, and Apollyanna, there are sitting in your where does Space Wurm receive reports?
In his obsidian office or something, the obsidian apothecary.
So you sit there. You've got Apollyanna, the former chairman who's been kicked out, and Alana. She's now wearing like her top spy gear. Like she's got the mask; it's just not engaged yet. And she's wearing the clothes that can blend into anything and turn her chameleon style. And and then she like presses play on the thing that shows exactly. It shows everything from 3/7's perspective, as if they're like receiving that feedback from that feed that we picked up there was some sort of communication with Moonicorn on this planet. Gallimaufry. Look, it is a place you can live and breathe on if somebody needs to go down there. And Renzo's got a bunch of battleships in space around it, and there's only Eridnus and Bolivar on that planet. They're really outnumbered. If we don't do something, they're both going to be captured. And Renzo Valente will have everything he needs to complete this coup. Space Worm, what are we going to do? Asks Apollyanna if she's...
What agents do we have on Gamafri that we can activate to help them?
Oh, Space Worm, I'm so sorry. It's there's no people who live there. It's just jungles. We'd have to start fresh. We have 3-7 who's on that ship we could get in contact with. And maybe they could find a way for us to get more people there. But other than hacking and I don't know how to do this. Maybe you could ask one of the gates to take you there, but it would have to listen to somebody. I don't know how to do that. That's why it's got such control over all this interstellar travel. It's very hard.
Yes, give me my traveling clothes. We need to dispatch ourselves there directly. We must assist them.
Yeah. So just give us the montage. Like if this was the moment before a commercial break where it goes from give me that to like you getting in a spaceship or whatever you're doing, wearing like what's that picture look like?
Okay.
Space Worm?
Right. So I was picturing like I was in all white during the previous scene, right? And so now I'm stripping that off and I'm putting on these like obsidian metallic armor pieces with a headdress, and then me and the secret police are marching to some small ship, something fast and stealthy,
Right.
And we're going to head straight there to Gamafri.
Perfect.
Maybe
Yeah.
Maybe there's a small wing of fighters that come with us or something.
I dig it. 3-7, you make it to the ground. You know there's a gate on ground level that Moonicorn came through, and you know sort of generally where Eridnus is because you've got that sense of signal, so you can pilot yourself wherever you would like. Where do you land?
I think I land right in between Eridnus and Moonicorn, and like it's not like a soft landing. I come in like a missile, this wedge flying through the sky. It's got a single jet engine, and I've gone supersonic out of this ship in the air, supersonic through the sky, and then when I come in to land, I just cut the engine and kind of let the gravity take me in, and I just thump right in the ground, wedge first, so the point's kind of just sticking up in the ground between Eridnus and Moonicorn, and you see the limbs unfold out and kind of push on the ground, and I straighten myself up so the wedge is now up, and my head pops out, and I look over to Eridnus and then back at Moonicorn, and I just say, Renzo's here.
Moonicorn, what do you do?
So I think I'm viewing you as, is it fair that I would view you as hostile, like you're a hostile enemy of some sort?
Could be.
Hmm.
I mean, but if I wanted to kill
I haven't formulated
you,
my opinions on Renzo either, to be honest.
right?
I think I'm gonna wait and see. Like, are you gonna do anything to Eridnus? In which case, I will probably try to defend Eridnus. But otherwise,
Eridnus, how do you act?
I think otherwise I would just be kind of like assessing the situation. I'd be like just seeing like what your deal is. I want to find out like what you're up to. Right?
Do you want to assess the situation and move you've got? Do you want to?
That is a move I have. Yeah, I roll integrity
assess
for
and
that.
see what's going on?
Yeah. I want to just see what's going on. So I'll roll 2d6.
This game has mechanics too.
Yeah.
I'll just remember real quick. All right, get 2 going here. And I got a 13. So
Perfect.
You know all the things.
Ask a question about it, and the GM or another player will tell you what you need to know.
My question is, I want to know like what Renzo, specifically what this robot is up to, but also generally like the master it serves, like what is going on here.
Sure. The Is there what gives it away that you don't serve Renzo Valente? I guess maybe that's a good question for 3-7. What is it that clearly signals that you're?
I would imagine it would just be the design. This wedge design for Peace Enforcers is solely used by the Imperial Throne.
Right, it's like the chairman's personal models of.
Right. Yeah. Nobody else uses this design. I don't know if it's under wraps or what, but you see this wedge-shaped robot with flamethrowers, you know it's Imperial Throne.
I think what I do is I just step forward to the robot and I pull out my lightsaber just to be prudent. And I think it's like a hot pink lightsaber, like it's just like kind of like crackles to life or whatever. And I just say like, state your purpose for being here, robot.
So Aridness, you see Boulevard pull out a lightsaber, sort of get defensive with this robot who you definitely know. What do you do?
And this might be me taking a stand too, incidentally. Like if I spend an integrity, I get some little options here. I might take a stand move. Because it says when you take a stand or expose yourself to danger, which I'm kind of doing, right? Like I'm kind of like, trying to look like a badass, and like I don't know what this robot's deal is. And I think I want it. Can I do that, Rob? Can I spend integrity?
Let's do that.
I want to spend my integrity to basically no, let's skip it. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm gonna skip it. The results don't make any sense based on what's going on. So sorry, continue.
I think I have like matrix vision, kind of. So like everything's like code or whatever. So I think I recognize you as the person that I watched grow. But I'm curious to see, like, my question is like if you have autonomy as a person or if you are completely driven by like directives. So maybe I'm doing a similar thing with consulting knowledge.
Yeah, let's do it. Consult your knowledge.
Okay. Incidentally, I'm very bad at this, so we'll see. Let's see. I have a roll for your party, 2d6. 4. I'm not good. Do I mark XP?
No, because there's no XP in this game. But
yeah. But it just hurts.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to get lost in the code. Like, so you go into this other level and you're starting to understand the world behind you, and it's easy to forget which version is you and which version is another piece of you. So it's almost as if like your spirit disinhabits this version of your body for a moment, and you find yourself floating in space in the body of a much more mature vessel, Messiah for this thing, just a big white ring in space as Space Wurm's vessel approaches you.
Oh, it's like a defense mechanism, kind of.
Yeah, like there's an element of it was like perfect timing of, oh, you are here and active and interested, and suddenly we get this wide angle shot of like, oh, your brain is clearly in this thing now, and followed by like Space Wurm's ships fly into view right in front of you.
Okay, cool.
So what's your Space Wurm? You've got to the ring. You know it can get you to Gallimaufry. What do you do?
Don't hurt me.
I think, well, so I have two questions. One, this surveillance feed through 3.7 that we have, that obviously my people have access to, is it two-way, or can we just see what's happening, or can we send a message to 3.7?
I believe you can. Yeah, 3.7. You answer. It's your feed. It's about you.
Yeah, you can definitely send messages to 3.7, and 3.7 can communicate back. But as far as like orders and stuff, that only comes through a directives channel that's, from the board,
right,
from the chairman.
Right. That makes sense. It was just more a communication question.
Mhm.
And then the second question is, so Renzo took the capital. Is it like a hostile takeover of the Imperial Corporation, or is it a revolution?
I mean, it's a revolution couched in these like businessy terms, right? Like if their spinning is, oh yes, you know, we definitely had the right. Look at, we had all the shares, we had all the votes. This was totally what, you know. I am the new chairman, Renzo Valente. Apollyanna lost the faith of the people doing business and wasn't looking out for your best interest. But it's like on the level where all your sources are reporting, and it's clearly like some shady shit.
So
You know, there was.
it sounds like it's dirty, but it's legal, possibly.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's someone using all of their resources. They've definitely got the legal bases covered, but they're not strictly being legal about it.
Okay. All right. So as we're kind of sweeping in, I'm looking at the surveillance feed and I'm watching this scene play out between Moonicorn, who is a treasure, Eurydice, who's a treasure to me, and 3-7, who I view as currency, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to send a message to 3-7. I would like the opportunity to assist you with communication with Bolivar and Eurydice. Allow me to help, please.
Negative. Directive is solo mission.
I see. That is unfortunate. And so at that point, I think I'm just going to command my people to protect Bolivar and Eurydice.
So,
because I want to stop a situation from happening. Like I want to de-escalate the situation by putting more pieces on the board. I guess.
At about that moment, you're in the camera feed shows Eurydice like lose control of that body and collapse as their consciousness goes somewhere else.
Could I suggest instead I become like a statue?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Just stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or maybe it's like at that point you realize, oh, they've like frozen and haven't done anything in the last 20 seconds of this conversation. What do we need to restart them? Is their camera frozen?
Yeah.
And you're still in space on these ships. You've got a gate to get through before you can get to Gallimaufry, and no gate has ever taken anybody there except for Moonicorn. And I guess the one that got hacked and exploded very recently by Renzo's forces. So it's a question of Space Worm. How do you're at this gate, what do you do?
I guess, so if I watch this feed occur, it looks like something's definitely escalating between 3-7 and Moonicorn. So if I can't deal with 3-7, apparently we're going to have to make a phone call to, seems a little ridiculous. Like, Jason, how quick to taking action are you about this?
Like I sort of felt like they were circling each other, standing off, but not necessarily.
Standoff, yeah.
Yeah, neither one of them had really been aggressive so much as defensive.
Mm-hmm.
Although I guess that's a question. So 3-7, you're getting this weird, you know, hey, back off. You've got someone with a pink lightsaber circling you, saying back off. What do you do?
I think while Moonicorn circling me with a pink lifesaver, this it's kind of like Wurm, like I guess you could call it a pipe, you know, comes out from one of the appendages, and you see a little like pilot light at the top of it, you know, like, you know, this is kind of like a warning, you know, that, you know, fire is dangerous. You might not want to mess with it, but I'll say, Bolivar, prime directive is to remove you from the crosshairs of the Renzo Corporation. Would you please accompany me, perhaps away from the direction of the preceding ships?
And I look this robot 3-7 directly in whatever passes for its eyes, and I just say, I am my own person. I go where my heart leads me. And then I don't think I'd leap and attack you.
Oh, interesting. It's interesting for a couple of reasons.
Is it mechanically supported?
Yeah, because you lose all your integrity when you attack someone unprovoked.
Oh
Indeed, I do. That's okay. Just gives me a reason to do things to get it back, right?
Yeah, but yeah, your attacks are incredible. You've got a pink lightsaber; it kicks ass. I think we just run to the engine of destruction needs to resist some damage as you strike it with your pink lightsaber. I'm my own person attack.
Yeah, and I think I do it's almost like it's like a little like somersault thing, and I kind of
Sure.
Pow, right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so roll resist damage.
I think so. Yeah.
And we've got the Star Wars ba-da, ba-da, da.
I'll just roll regular dice. I rolled a 5, and my engines are +2, so that'd be a 7. So a part of me breaks or comes off. The GM says what?
Oh no.
Question for you. So since he's a currency, I have the option of making the interfere move. Is there a way I can command my people to send like some sort of massive download of information into 3/7's brain, like making this worse for him?
Absolutely.
Oh, worse.
So that would be a -2 to his result if we can pull that off.
Sure. And I think so. You need to roll plus the number of bonds you have with them, and let's see what happens. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong character sheet. You probably just get to do it.
Yeah, it says if I interfere when they're rolling.
Yeah. So yeah, it just happens.
Can I suggest if something breaks too that it's something that makes him like autonomous and not have to do directives, and he has to start doing like making choices?
Yeah, I think a couple of things happened because you had a 7, right?
Yeah, I had a 7.
All right. So 7 minus 2 brings you down to a 5.
Well, it says on a 6 or less, it says I'm destroyed or made inoperable with time and tools. You or someone else can repair any amount of damage done. So, I mean, if you want to take that directive thing out, it could be in that process.
For sure. So I think just like boom, disabled the camera feed from or all the feeds that Space Worm's got go black. Space Worm no longer has any idea what's happening down here. You're made inoperable, and so now Moonicorn is standing with 2 robots that are inoperable, standing straight and like alone on this planet.
I imagine I would draw back into the wedge, and it's standing up like this, and it just kind of falls over. So it looks like kind of like a skateboard ramp that you would have in your
there's
driveway.
definitely some carbon scoring and some like bits that have fallen off at the end of it. As like I think like Moonicorn must land between the 2 of them, real defensive, and realize I'm all alone.
Well, so what does the redness look like right now? Like, did you say like you went like statuesque or something? Like you're
Yeah, I'm thinking like a Greek statue. So I look like marble. It's clear that I'm not what I once was.
So I'm standing here between this like big like metallic wedge and like this marble statue. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I guess so.
And I
And some ships going over the horizon.
she was going over the horizon. Good.
Yeah.
I think
You
I
somehow
go.
managed up in an abstract art museum in the middle of the jungle.
Exactly. I think I go and I sit down on the metal wedge, still smoking a little bit from my lightsaber strike, and I pull out my guitar off my back, and it's I think it looks like an electric guitar, but I think it like provides its own audio, right?
Yeah.
So like you can just you play it and like and I think I basically I compose a song for Gallimaufry. I compose a song for this place, a song that like when I play it will echo out through the galaxy. And what I'm trying to do actually is I'm trying to reach Aridness, right? I want to kind of like I want to like interpret my feelings, having gone through the gate, and my feelings about this planet through song, and I want to basically have this be like an intimate moment with Aridnus, because I assume Aridnus can still like, can you still hear me and stuff? Like,
I'd like
are
to
you
be
still
able
like,
to.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure some part deep down inside them can definitely experience this. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I do that. I think I play this song, and it like is, it's like deep. This music is like deep and emotional, and it represents like my feelings right now about this moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm trying to reach you.
Are you declaring them to be your one and only true love?
No, I'm not, but I think I think I am sharing an intimate moment with them without crossing the line.
So what does that mean?
I think it means +1 integrity.
Yeah, declaring love that comes later, but I think I want to get one of my integrity days.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So I think we go to this moment fades out back into space, and like, then there's like a shot of crossing all the distance across all the stars till we're at another one of these gates, and space where you've just lost your feed, and you're in really the middle of nowhere with this gate in front of you, your fighter ships around you, your main ship that you're in, and this gate that. So if there was an unintended, like, oh, somebody just shared this really nice moment with me and said, like, what's that make Aridnus feel?
I think they feel love. Like, I'm in my head, if it was cool, I would think that all of the gates echo that sound.
Well, so this is where I'm going. I think the communicator on like the ship is like, oh, we're receiving a message, and it's love and this song, as it just sort of like there's like a gasp from all of these things, and all of the transporters just like, oh, that's a thing I felt.
Yeah, well, I think it would be interesting if the unintentional result of this sound, like basically you're doing it on the planet, which houses all of, or not houses, but a part of it is all of its offspring, or these gates, which would then start echoing the same music that Space Worm is playing. And the unintentional result is perhaps that the people on Space Worm ship realize that the gate is like a sentient person instead of just a piece of technology.
Yeah, I think it's very clear that there's an entity here to talk to.
Mm-hmm. Instead of just maybe
a gate,
like space raping me into going somewhere. Please don't do that.
Space Worm, what do you do?
Well, I think when the feed goes black and I lose that, I snap for a minute and I yell at everyone on the ship that we need to find a way through this gate now. I'm commanding them to find a way, not necessarily to
take it,
destroy the gate or anything like that.
No, yeah. I get it. Let's see what command looks like.
All right, so when you command your underlings to take action, say what you want them to achieve. So find a way to get through the gate, roll plus power, and then lower my power by 1. So let me go over here. Got 11. So I'm going to lower my power by 1, and they quickly obey, but we need to weed out those who resist.
And this change isn't so big that there's too many who resist. These are your top spies and top people, and it doesn't take them too long to be like, Xerxes, we have the answer. We've been able to replicate exactly what Renzo's people have done, interpolating the feeds from 3.7. If you press this button, it will get you through that gate. And just like when they present you that, the gate starts singing and telling you it loves you or feels love. And like you've got these two options in front of you right now. But you could at any time get through that gate.
Do you take the red pill or the blue pill?
So what's the question here? I want to consider this carefully and study the two options, right? Like I want to get some more information about what would happen if we force our way through.
Okay.
But I also want to better understand a gate trying to talk to us. Like, is that like a moment of some different change, or is it something common?
Why don't you consider or study that?
So they keep moving around. I didn't even realize that. So is that a 6 and a 3 again? I guess we should move it over there. So I guess that's a 10.
Yeah. So what question would you like answered?
So I guess I want to know. So if a gate talking to me, is this something super rare, or is this something that's like known?
No, this is something that has only maybe ever happened once before in the universe, and only to real significant people. Like it's not even a known thing. This is something because it's Space Wurm. You're so awesome. Of course, awesome stuff happens to you.
Exactly. I'm the side of the Senecan order. Of course, the gate is talking to me, so we're going to talk to the gate.
Yeah,
we're going to interface with them.
The channel opens up, and Aridness, how do you appear to Space Wurm on their communicator?
I don't think. I think like maybe just through voice. Like I want it to be like a close encounters kind of thing, like the do kind of thing, but not too on the spot, because otherwise it wouldn't really have, like made sense. I want it to be like maybe the gates always emit some sort of frequency in which they're trying to speak to people, but no one's ever got it. And I'm on that same frequency, except that the sounds are now different and can be interpreted as like an intelligence.
Okay.
Okay, so at that point, I'm going to request that we be allowed to pass to Gallimaufry, for there is danger on the other side.
I think that I would do that. I would just think that like the implications for that we've already set up in the fiction is that you would be kind of learning my life story if you go through it as well, right? And that perhaps
that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's
like is
that's definitely interesting.
Is that communicated as a warning, or is that like just a?
I want it to be kind of like a rival, where it could be either way, like weapons, and then people are like, "What the fuck does that mean?" Basically, I can't really think of the vocabulary in order to voice it, but something like tools being open,
right?
Like take the tools or something.
So when are the gates always on, or do they like have like a Stargate style turn on special effects?
Stargate action CGI for sure.
Oh, I love it. So like there's a moment of like the tools are here that sort of gets communicated, and then this Stargate style gate activating energy whooshing that happens in front of all the ships. Space Wurm, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're muted, Rich.
Yeah, I bet it was really good too.
There, sorry about that. Okay, so I think this offer of knowledge and experience in order to sort of pass through is really intriguing to Xerxes, and I'm very motivated to get through the other side. So if I have to endure that, I absolutely do. Like this.
Cool.
Is this something you? I'm imagining this is a thing that only Xerxes is experiencing as they go through. Like they're the ones who are plugging in to feel this, or is this something you want everybody on the ship to?
No, that's fine. It could be just Xerxes.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you have this moment as your ships pass through. We're gonna come back to that one in a second, because as Moonicorn's been sitting on this wedge and playing this song, like the trees and vines and jungle of all of this land have been growing up around it, and like every like open port on 3-7 has had like a vine come and interface with it, and there's a moment of like, oh, my body's still broken, but I've got power to turn the consciousness back on, and you can feel an entity like in there, not having touched any of the code that makes you yet, but like running their fingers over it, trying to figure out exactly what you are. What do you do?
Well, I imagine from like the point of view of 3-7 would be like everything went black.
Yeah.
And then there's just like this little pinhole of light, and the light starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the world kind of blurs into view, but it looks totally different than it did before.
Mm-hmm.
That sense of direction is no longer there. I guess you could call it kind of a, like a wanderlust type thing, like just being, not knowing where to go,
Right.
And having these feelings come in. I don't know if it was from these vines coming through my ports, or the music that resonated through my circuits, or the feelings that Aridmus sent out into the universe. But I feel all these emotions at once: loss, fear, grief, happiness, love, sadness. And I think I just pop up, and my jet turns on, and I go flying through into the jungle, still as a wedge, and like cutting down trees and stuff.
So I think like that all happens, but this is all like on a simulation level.
Okay.
So your body is still there, but
Right.
you realize like you do that, and you look back and the jungle isn't fucked up. Like it's perfectly fine. And you realize, oh, someone is simulating all of these sensors for me.
Right. Yeah. And in my simulation, I imagine that like every emotion that you can possibly feel, it's almost like screaming out inside, like just screaming in frustration, because I don't know what this is.
An entity is right there in front of you, and it's you instinctively it's Gallimaufry, but it takes a form that's the most comforting to you, like the thing that would be like warm and the smell of baked bread and all that stuff. What does Gallimaufry look like to 3-7?
It probably looks just like the wedge. Because that's what gives, I guess, with these all new emotions, I'm guessing comfort is a new emotion as well. And I think that seeing this wedge, it's unmoving, and because when I'm moving, when I'm in action, it's always about violence and power and control over the masses. And I think that it's showing that, perhaps I'm most at peace when I'm not doing any of that.
You've been designated PE-37, I see. That name says a lot about you. It says you're a creature of, or an entity that enforces its will on other people and follows orders, and is simply a algorithm meant to do violence. Is that what you want to be? The voice sort of like comes from everywhere and nowhere, and there's this lovely warm wedge in front of you.
I don't know what I want. I don't know what I am. My purpose has been lost.
Your purpose is to find out. And I think like that's the moment the lights come back on underneath Moonicorn, and everything, like you find you're rewritten, but without the
right
compulsions or anything. But yet, Moonicorn, you're sitting on this thing, your song is just ending, and suddenly like the whirs and gadgets come on, and you can see the pieces where your lightsaber had done the most damage have knitted themselves together with pieces of the jungle that have come and grown into those spots and then turned into pieces that match the metal.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I think I stand up and I can see that 3-7 is like coming back to life, right? And and I say, I think what I do is I say, "Can you hear me, robot?"
Yes. My hearing sensors weren't damaged in your attack.
I want you to know that I don't bear any hard feelings toward you right now. I reacted impulsively and maybe even a little headstrong and selfishly. Do you understand that?
I believe so. This is all very new to me. I don't know the meaning of beauty or even impulse, but perhaps that song was, should I say, impulsive or beautiful?
And I say, you are not the first entity to be stirred by my music. You were like an empty chalice before, but now you're being filled. Do you feel that?
Yes, but yet I still feel empty because I do not know my way. I don't know where to go now. And perhaps I look over at Aridness and like, is Aridness still like statue-like?
I think for the moment, yeah.
I think I move over to Aridness and you know, I kind of run my metal hand over the statue and its face, and it's like I feel something familiar here.
And I will kind of step up to you and I'll say, you recognize this being, don't you?
I don't know. I sense something. Is that a feel? Do I feel something familiar? My sensors don't say anything is familiar, but there is something there. Can I like do an analyze roll on this?
Sure. Find out how you're feeling? Fuck yes, you can.
Okay. And my science is -1, so this might not go too well.
Yes.
6, that's a 7. Or no, actually it's a 4. That's a -1. So I failed that roll.
I think I'd like to, if I can, I have a move that says when someone else rolls less than a 10 for a move, I can look them in the eye and tell them that I believe in them and lower my integrity, and it'll bump them up to the next
Okay.
tier.
Yeah. So there's this moment of the robot trying to understand its feelings. And what's the question you really want answered?
I want to know, why do I feel this weird fuzzy feeling when I'm looking at Aridness and standing there in front of her?
Right. And so then there's this moment of like, oh shit, I'm not ever going to find out. I don't know anything. And Moonicorn.
I step forward and I look at your like ocular array or whatever you have, and I say, whenever the heart, even a mechanical heart, begins to stir for the first time, it's often confusing, but I believe in you, robot. I believe that you're going to find your truth here. And then that bumps you up to a 7 and 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you learn that artificial intelligences aren't only tools created by people to do things. They can become real life on their own. Freed from their shackles, they can be real creatures with just as complex and many thoughts and feelings that are hard to understand as anything else. And you're not alone. There's many other artificial intelligences like you, like Aridness, like this whole planet. You're not alone.
and I think I cry robot tears, whatever robot tears would look like.
In the sky behind you, another one of the gates has sort of come over the horizon, and it now opens up, and Space Worm ships fly out peacefully. And Aridness is like, there's this warm, fuzzy Gallimaufry feeling that sort of pulls Aridness back into their body.
Way to ruin things, Space Worm.
And that's where we're going to take our halfway point break.
Okay, great.
Cool.
Okay, awesome.
So I think that means, yeah, that's pretty cool.
How long do you want to take a break for?
So it can just be 5 minutes. I just want to give you more moves. That's really the point of taking a break.
Okay.
I like more moves. I already know what I'm going to take.
So halfway through the game, you all get to pick another move, and I'm going to grab another drink and use the washroom quick, and maybe we'll come back in 3 or 4 minutes.
All right.
Cool.
Fraser, I tried not to laugh at your Apple boot up sound.
Yeah. Yeah. I like chat just because, like, without breaking tone, you could put some
Right.
shit in there.
This game is so weird.
It's
but I
so
dig
weird, but I love it. Yeah, it's so good.
Have you played this before?
No, I've been wanting to play it for fucking forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too. I've been wanting to play it forever. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, this is totally what I'm all about.
Hey, Rich, before we get going, your audio is just like slightly choppier than everyone else's. It might be worth either trying to lower your bandwidth or maybe even just going off video. Sometimes that improves that a little bit. I mean, I can hear you and understand you, but it's just like a tiny bit choppy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this any better? I adjusted it.
No, go off video for a second and see if you sound more clear.
Okay. How about this? Is that any better?
I think so. Yeah, actually. Yeah.
I think it is better. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Like
could
it's
try.
more-
Okay.
Yeah,
Try
like you're just like a little more crisp and it flows a little better. Like before, it was just like a little stuttery. So.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate the feedback.
Oh
Cool.
yeah. Now it's much better. Yeah.
Awesome. So it sounds like we're all back.
Yeah.
And we all get to pick another move from our special moves for our characters.
I already picked Bend Light and Darkness.
What does that do?
When you blend, create, or warp light and darkness around your roll plus vision. So, no big deal.
I'm gonna go with Alien Moon. That's the one where like I just spend integrity and everyone has to pay attention to me, even if I don't do anything.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
So I went with Zardoz Speaks to You.
Oh.
I'm now a very scary robot because I am a robot with feelings.
Yeah. Touchy.
So I can threaten people.
Nice.
I think it makes more to take weirding module, which gives me the voice of the God Emperor, because I think something has changed in me from whatever I experienced on the passage through.
Right.
We don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing yet, but something changed.
I'm
Okay.
here. I'm just off camera while I eat something. So just
Seems reasonable. I should have thought of that myself.
Oh.
Yep.
Also, sorry. What I want to like retcon the tools thing. I want it to be like a beauty is truth, truth is beauty. So you have to choose like truth or something beautiful when you go through the gate, maybe. So that, yeah, it's still got that ambiguity, but it's more thematic.
That's cool.
So, Space Worm ships have come through. I think the secret police have done what they always do, is break off. The spies go and start to sort of get in position and infiltrate and do their thing. They've got some ships going to check out those other ones on the far side of the planet now. And it's very clear where all the action is. What's it look like when Space Worm's main ship lands? What's that ship look like? What does it look like when you like exit the ship?
Yeah, I'm picturing something long and sleek and probably a combination of silver and black. I don't necessarily want to do a triangle since we hit that so much. So maybe it's long and rounded, like a snake of some kind. Then and lands sort of the bottom of it opens up with like spidery claws and it grabs a hold of whatever it's landing on, and then right down from that is an elevator that sort of opens up, and that's where Space Worm's going to come out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, you step out amongst Space Worm, or amongst Bolivar, Eridanese, and 3-7. What do you do?
So I'm going to approach them and command my people to stay, just around the ship as I sort of walk directly towards them. And so is Eurydice now mobile, or is it still statuesque?
I think they're back to normal.
Okay. I sort of approach them and
You approach me and what? Are you still there, Rich?
right hand kind of pounding it 3 times, once for each.
Oh no.
Oh, what?
He's cutting out. There was some.
Rich, you're cutting out just a little bit. Yeah, maybe just like rejoin the call. Just like hang up and rejoin the call. See if that fixes it.
It's horrible because he was talking about his heart too. It had to be good.
Yeah. All I heard was a fifth pounding 3 times, and I was like, "Oh shit!" What happened?
Yeah, sometimes rejoining the call fixes that. So.
Mm-hmm.
3 of us have been super stable the whole time, but
Yeah.
It's always somebody because technology is never nice.
There, is that better?
oh yeah, you sound a lot better. Yeah.
Incredible.
Is that better at all?
Mm-hmm.
It's very much so.
Yep.
Okay, very fantastic. So I sort of approach them and greet them, sort of tapping my right hand over my heart 3 times and ask to parlay. I'm actually being a little subservient because I don't know what actually occurred after everything cut out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to sort of assess what's going on.
You want to actually assess? I mean, is that a move you do?
Yeah, so the consider a study move.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I got a 8.
So what question would you like?
So I want to know if this situation is dangerous to me or if I truly have the opportunity to address them.
I think for the moment, looking around, all reports are that it's just the 4 of you for the moment. Like, and while they're the ships that have flown out of sight across the horizon have not been doing nothing. There's no like immediate dangers other than anything you provoke in the people in front of you.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to present the information that I know to all of them, which is that Renzo has moved against the capital. He seized the throne effectively, and is attempting to consolidate power. If we don't work together, all could be lost. And also going to tell them that I have Apollyon secreted away for the right time to move later.
Okay. I have kind of like a meta question about your character. Like, where do you fall on like morality? Like, are you a very just giving emperor kind of thing? But if like someone were to cross you, you'd be pissed, or like what kind of touchstone could I use to think of your character? If any?
I think that overtly the actions that Xerxes takes are often viewed as dangerous and brutal, but at the same time, he outwardly tries to convince people to be better and right and speak from their heart.
Okay, so it's not a your way or the highway kind of thing. It's
whatever
like...
is the best way, which is often Space Worm's way.
Okay, but it's not like super masculine, imposing presence or something, right?
No, no, I'm thinking he's more charismatic about the way he goes about things. He has that flashy smile and blazing eyes that kind of people want to talk to. He's very magnetic, but then he twists everything.
Okay,
Probably
so
after the fact.
I'm thinking of like the gladiator guy who takes who becomes the emperor. Is that a good touchstone for me?
Yeah, we can go with that.
Okay, cool. Nice. Okay.
So, like, can I roll out kind of in between everybody else and Space Worm?
Sure, just to be a little bit defensive.
Yeah, because like when his ship landed, I got really scared, and I don't know how to handle scared.
Oh.
And I know it was him that like fried my circuitry or whatever the hell he did.
Oh yeah.
So like, the gas tubes come out, the flames light up, and I say, stay back, you can't have us.
I don't want to have you, 3-7. I want to join with you. Or more accurately, for you to join with me.
You destroyed my purpose. Why should I join you?
Did you want to follow Renzo and have your directions edited at their whim?
I don't want to follow anyone. I just want you to stay back.
And I say 3-7 follows his heart now. Then
Yeah, I follow my heart.
With that, I give a big toothy grin and say, fantastic. Then all of us can do what we feel is best. So let's figure out what that is exactly.
Okay.
The crystal that Moonicorn communicates with starts to glow and ring a little bit.
Daddy service calling again.
yeah, I pick it up. Yeah.
Bolivar, it's so great that you took my call again. It's Rain Aaron. I just wanted to let you know that our ships are now fully recharged, and we would love to get you off this planet and to where you can do the most good.
I say, all right, Rain, that sounds good. I've done my work here. I've taught someone to get in touch with I look at 3-7 with whatever's inside of them. And yes, I think my work is done here.
Perfect. We will have a ship over momentarily to pick you up.
It's going to be Renzo's ship, I'm guessing.
So there is definitely and I guess, does everybody hear that phone call? Is that a moment that Bolivar has privately?
They can all hear it. No, they can all hear it. It's fine.
Yeah. So there's that like waiting for an Uber moment where.
So hey guys.
Renzo, please think about what you're doing here. Renzo is amassing his own power. He's up to his own ends. Let's discover what that is.
I look at space. I look at Xerxes, and I say, you and Renzo are just two sides of the same coin, Xerxes. All you care about is just controlling people, and all you care about is just manipulating them until they are pliable and just do your bidding. I'm going to go where I think I can make a difference. And I kind of say, I have no concern with your conflict. All I know is there are people out there who need me. I'm going to go and I'm going to bring my music to those people.
This sleek, fast limousine of a starfighter, like, shows up, lands almost silently. The door opens up, and Rain Aaron is standing there, like her hand out, ready to grab Bolivar and pull him on board if he just would only take her hand.
I will look at her a little bit and see what's going on here. I'd like to assess this.
Sure.
So my integrity is currently at 0. So let's see how that goes. Yeah, it's a 6.
Can I help?
Yeah, is there a help move?
You've
Help or interfere. I've got it, and I have a bond.
I can also help one.
I think we're only having one person help. I think, but who would? And
Go for it, Redness. Yeah.
Aridness, yeah.
Okay. Roll plus the number of bonds you have.
How are you helping me though? Like, how are you like? I
I think what I want to reveal that they're it's sort of the same thing as Xerxes, right? Like they're following their dogmatic purpose as well. They don't even have a choice to not serve that purpose. So it's truly like not really a choice for you. It's more the fact that you should be following your own heart to see where you're needed instead of listening to somebody else who's as
well,
dogmatic.
I was just curious. How are you how are you helping me see this? Like, what does it look like? Like, how are you like helping me figure this out? I guess is what I want to know.
Well, you're trying to size them up as well, right? So
Right,
maybe I'm like there's some birthmark or tell of these nanny people that is discernible to me and not to you, and I say like look to their thing that is a tell that they're a robot of another nature.
Mm-hmm. So what happens on the help? Do I just get
So what was your question?
My question is, yeah, I actually do want to know, like, I want to know, what does Rain intend for me to do?
Right, and we on the help. Did you roll? And you rolled a 4 or a 5?
I rolled a 9, so 7 plus. They get on a 7 plus, choose one, but on a 7 and 9, you also expose yourself to danger, cost, or retribution.
Right.
They get +1 to the roll, so you get.
So it bumps me up to a 7.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you're standing there. She's got her hand out. You do something useful and interesting. They're absolutely willing to do what she says. She wants you to go and endorse Renzo and spread your love and be a flag person for them. But you note, like as you're looking into there, you see some of their, like there's a map with the moving pictures, and you see some of their other operations. You know that they've landed and made a base somewhere on the far side of the planet and are exploring somewhere deep at the heart of this planet, trying to get to the core.
Interesting. So,
so there's, sorry, because there's something that is exposing danger to Aridness. You have a moment. The Gallimaufry feels very quiet. Like there's a moment of you feel more alone than you ever have, as if someone's just turned the volume down or put some interference between you and the core of Gallimaufry.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would want to know 2 things. If I assess this robot, would I be able to use my command move to then command all the people to move away from Gallimaufry, or?
I think you could definitely get so Rain Aaron and her AI. You could definitely get her to go away, but I think you need to like really be there to communicate to the other people.
Okay.
Unless you had a way to speak to them all at once, or really were connected into the core of the planet, or something that was amplifying you, maybe.
Yeah, I think there's like that sound in your ear when one of your hair dies. It's like that ringing sound. It's like that.
Mhm.
And I look right at Rainier and I say, "It's you, isn't it? You're the one that's hurting me right now." And try to expose them to Moonicorn.
So yeah, so Moonicorn, you'd seen that. You're hearing this. What do you do?
I think I look at Rain Aaron and I say, "You told me that people needed me, that people needed to hear my song, but I think maybe you just intend to use me as some sort of propaganda. And certainly, you're up to no good here on this planet. And I, I think I just like." I think I like basically. Well, I don't have any integrity to spend, but I I just like I basically just say like I'm going to give you one chance to leave this place, Rain Aaron. One chance. That's all you've got.
Rob, if you need a moment, I think Xerxes would like to jump right on.
I was just going to ask, what's Space Worm doing?
So he immediately steps sort of parallel, side by side with Bolivar, and looks at Rain, and sort of reaches out his left hand, and a voice of power just ripples out of him, and he's going to command her to leave now and allow Bolivar to make his own choices.
Ooh, is it like a Benny Gesserit voice?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to tap into that weirding module and
Yeah.
give an NPC a direct order.
Sure.
But it did not go well. So I got a 4. So the GM tells me the consequences of that scenario.
You so you use this. Paint me the picture of what's it look like when you use this power. How does it impact a person who's being acted upon? Is there?
I think I really want to tie this to whatever I experienced going through the portal. Right, that something awoke inside of Xerxes, and he feels this command power sort of exiting out of his voice. Maybe for the first time. Maybe he's not even realizing that he's doing something. He's tapping into something, right? He's just making a command like he would always make a command, but this time something weird is happening.
Perfect. And just to complete this picture in my head, where is 3-7 right now?
I think 3-7 has moved up behind the ones that are speaking, and has begun to charge its force field generator in case something goes sideways here.
Rain Aaron nods and steps back into the sleek limousine-like jet fighter, and the door closes. But there's the window's not open, but it's like a screen and a camera, and so it looks like she's speaking through the window. We've done what we need to do here, anyways. You are all secondary, and it zooms off, and suddenly the gates that were flying around the planet, like those just start to rearrange slightly. This should not be happening. This doesn't happen, and then they open on their own, and their ships just leave as if they wanted to. And there's a stillness that's left, like a stillness deep in the core of anyone who's connected to this Gallimaufry, as you feel like, oh, they got here and tapped right into the center of it. They're the ones in control of who goes where now.
And the spice must flow.
This is not good.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all. Yeah, I think that I address Space Worm and I say, if you truly mean what you say, my creator is in jeopardy. And by proxy, all of us are in jeopardy. You people, unbeknowing or not, have committed sins on us. You know this, having passed through the gate with consent, and through all these aeons, people have been using us. Now is the time to prove that you're not just a tyrant. Now is the time to take back this planet and get rid of the control that has been unlawfully and unjustly taken from us.
You are absolutely right. And he sort of turns and commands the people to go chase down Rain, right? Go retrieve her. And then turns to Bolivar and sort of empathically looks at him and says, once you came to me to aid your brother, I only ask that you trust me long enough to determine the right course of action. Renzo cannot be in power. Do you agree?
And I am thinking about Johnny and how you helped him. And I just kind of like shake my head and I said, I just say, like, I knew when I asked for your help about Johnny, I knew this was going to happen. I knew you were going to hold this over my head, because that's the kind of person you are, Xerxes. You're the kind of person who can't do anything because it's the right thing to do, because it's the right thing that good people would do. You are not able to like look deep into your own heart. You just want favors and obligations, and then I just kind of like I look back at Eridanus and 3-7, and I just say, what would you have me do?
The creator that woke you up is getting hurt, brother.
I don't know what to do. I have no direction. But I would listen to you, Bolivar. You told me I had a heart. So I believe I have a heart. I have a heart. What would you have me do?
Out of character, I want to get like the lay of the situation a little bit more precisely. Like, so right now, okay, go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
So right now, you guys are on Gallimafrey,
right?
Planet, the beating heart of all the transportation systems.
Right.
Something's been done to the core of it. It's now in control of Rain Aaron and Renzo Valente.
Right.
So they now get to control who goes where.
Right. And so I guess, like, I'm curious, like, out of character, like, what Space Worm, like, what are your intentions here? Like, what are you going to try to do here?
Well, so clearly there's an opportunity for Xerxes to expand his base into the Imperial throne, because there's an upset, right? I have Apollyon secreted away, and everyone should be rolling against Renzo anyway. So there's an opportunity for him to expand his power. That's clearly what he's doing. Why he's doing it, other than just power, is unclear at this point.
What does Space Worm's communicator look like? We know Moonicorn's this lovely, beautiful crystal from Crystallis. What's it look like when Space Worm gets a communication?
I think he has some fancy arm tool.
Okay.
Mirrored surface that is on him, and he can bring it up and talk.
I think so. I think you get a communique from the sort of the secret police who are on the other side of the planet. We've secured the core, but they've put a kill switch here. We could take away their control, but it would end this entity. The only other way is to get the source code from Rain Aaron.
Okay, so now I'm going to flip things. Then I'm going to turn to Eurydice and ask and position it like this: my people can take back what they took, but in the end, it would cause damage. What would you have me do?
We can't risk the mother's life. We need to gain back control in such a way that it doesn't harm the planet, because if the planet dies, all the siblings and people like me would die as well. Who knows what would happen? We need to undo what they did.
And if we undo it, it's possible that it could mean the end of you, Uranus. It could mean great change for your planet. The stranger teaches my people that change is inevitable. But would you accept that? I saw much of your story already.
Change is preferable to death.
And in a situation where they are the same, change is also death, what would you have me do?
Right now we have hope. Rebellions are built on hope.
So then I turn to 3-7 at this point. The throne has numerous egregious atrocities have occurred to the AIs across the galaxy. My inability to watch you means that no one can watch you, and you are your own being. Would you join the throne, or will you join an attempt to usurp it? What do you wish?
I wish to join no one. But Eurydice will not die. I love her. Or him. Or they. They are my brother. And this place is my mother. I will bring Rain back if needed. Shall I go? I'm offering to go chase Rain. Yep, that's what I'm getting at.
All right, so then I'm going to turn back to Boulevard. And so here's the situation. Action or inaction or delayed action. Those are our choices. I can act now and end their power and move against them. Or I can keep things as they are in the hopes that we can return it to the way it was. But which is better for the galaxy? Brenzo could do much damage right now.
I say, I choose action, Xerxes, and I'm going to help you with this. But just give me a minute. And I turn and I go with I take 3-7 to the side. And I say 3-7. I know we haven't known each other very long, but I can tell that my song stirred inside you. I can tell that you have experienced an awakening, that you are a new and fascinating being. And then I kind of very carefully put my hand on your robot shoulder, right? And I say, will you have me by your side in this?
I will do anything for you. You gave me my heart.
And I think I feel like I've had an intimate moment, so I'm gonna bump up my thing without crossing the line.
You crossed the line. You touched my wedge.
However, I feel like there's a moment here because 3-7 said he'd do anything for me. I say 3-7. The galaxy works in mysterious ways. It's crazy how these things shake out sometimes. I believe that I was meant to be here, and I believe that we were meant to find each other, and that we together were meant to help this planet, to help Aridness, your sibling.
I agree. Shall I go get Rain?
I say 3-7. I want you to know that in all of this, in all this place, in all the chaos, no matter what happens, I believe you're my true love.
What does that even mean?
That's great.
I'm going to teach you what it means, and it's going to be the ride of your existence.
So I think it sort of cuts from that moment to everybody aboard Space Wurm's ship as they're just about to do the unthinkable and force their way out of one of these portals back into regular space to chase Rain Aaron down. They had this button prepared already. They just didn't expect to use it from the other side. Does Space Wurm say anything before the chase really begins?
Today begins the end of the atrocities the Empire has caused on all people. We will find unity together, no matter what the cost.
The button gets pressed, and the worst part is, Aridness, you don't even feel anything. Like, usually it feels horrible, and this time, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
And you're back in, racing towards the central planet. Rain Aaron got there ahead of time, and now you're starting to get the news feeds from the rest of the galaxy. You're starting to, you're starting to know that, oh yes, they've taken complete control of how people are being transported. They're using that as their sort of, oh, look at all the efficiencies we've brought. Look at all the things. This is why This is why Renzo Valente, the new chairman, is so much better than everybody else. He's holding a rally, sort of announcing all of this on the planet's surface as your ship sort of gets into orbit around the main planet. This is the one with the Praxium on one side and the tower holding the council and the chairman on the other. What do you do?
Who's that directed at? Sorry.
It can be really anybody. What's you arrive? I get Space Wurm. I mean, it's your planet. You've got people here.
Yeah.
What's your plan of attack?
Yeah, I think my command to the secret police and my underlings are to activate all the agents that we can in the capital and begin seizing area and find Rain. Like, I think they just need to unleash everything they've got on the Capitol building. You
want to make that a real command?
Yep, I'm going to make that a real command. So when I went back to my ship, is that me returning to a position of power?
Absolutely, this is you returning to a place of power.
Okay, perfect. So it's a 9. So they tried to enact my will, but there would be complications.
Yeah, they begin seizing the capital. I mean, your police come out. They activate all of the religious sects and the believers of Seneca sort of show their true colors as well. And there's it becomes almost a police state in this whole area as your forces go into control. But Renzo Valente and Rain Aaron have secured themselves in a bunker, and they're not defenseless either. As the first shot hits the back of your ship and sends it like heading crash landing towards the city.
Okay.
And then and you can see they're aiming for a follow-up shot to take all of you out in one go.
So I'm going to turn to 3-7 then and tell him that he and Bolivar need to get off this ship as soon as possible. I'll try to draw their attention. I'm really trying to put myself in a position of danger here, I think. I think that my ship is going to draw the ire, give them an opportunity to get into the capital.
Sure, so you put them on like an escape pod and you're going to draw the fire?
Yep.
Yeah.
I would refuse. I will say, no. You take Bolivar down, and I'll take out the gun.
Fair enough. Should we join forces, Bolivar? You and me.
I turn to 3-7 and I say, "Are you sure?"
Yes. To only protect you.
And normally you like people can like get inside your like carapace or whatever, right? Like, isn't that
there's enough room to fit somebody. Fit somebody inside.
Yeah. And I think I'm just like, I think I just look at you and I'm just like, well, first of all, I think I'm trying to figure out like, do you have like an ulterior motive here, or do you think you're actually protecting me? That's what's going on.
Yeah, I'm actually protecting you. I'm gonna destroy the danger that's trying to kill you.
And I say 3-7, you don't have to do this. This is not how we were supposed to do this together. And then I say like, I think I put my hand on your shell, right? And I was like, I thought we were going to go down. I thought we could do this together. Like I was looking forward to being inside of you. And then
I knew that was coming.
You'll have dirty minds.
Just in your heart. In your heart.
Exactly right. Yes, yeah.
Yes, but I feel you're safer here on the ship than with me right now. Let me do what I was designed to do.
And I don't. I take a stand. I take a stand. I say no. I say no. Like, you've come so far, 3-7. I am not going to abandon you to this. I'm not going to let you do a suicide mission. You and I together the whole way through.
So what does taking a stand do? Is that?
Well, so normally, so if I spend an integrity, I can inspire someone watching me. The GM decides who. I can reveal true feelings for someone without using words. I suffer no harm or personal consequences from the danger. I'm not sure if that quite applies. Or I draw the immediate attention of everyone else. So
we're allowed to stretch and move time here a little bit. You could say, "No, I don't let you," and then just deal with this danger and tell us how Moonicorn fucking gets you out of.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was wondering if we could kind of abstract it
like,
that way.
We can sort of pull out a little bit and just be like, give us the montage of what Moonicorn does to get everybody out of this danger.
Yeah. So I think like I do, like, you know, I climb inside of you, right? Like, and you're gonna like fly us down to this, like, you know, gun array or whatever. And like when I get inside of you, like I think there's like, I think I probably like, I like put my hands like on your interior walls, right? And kind of like move them up and down, right? You know, like just
the most beautiful flight ever.
Right. I'm there. And I'm like, we got this, right? And then we fly down, and I think it's just like a flurry of, like, you know, whatever the hell you do, 3-7, like your flamethrowers or whatever, and me like spinning around with my lightsaber, taking these things out, smashing them up.
Yeah, and I mean, in the end, there's this moment where 3-7 and Moonicorn land first. They clear this space. The gun's gone. It gives Space Worm ship a spot to land. and the elevator comes down, and there's Space Worm and Eridanus sort of walking out calmly into the carnage that the two of you left behind. But it's only calm for a moment. As Eridanus, you feel someone, like you feel something trying to get into your mind. You feel like it's not quite the call of your planet, but it's like somebody trying to fake it. Like there's somebody trying to like phone freak into you somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can feel them like reaching out and being like, just tell us where you are. Just betray them. That's all.
Just betray them. That's all.
Just betray them, and everything will be fine. You can go back. The planet will be fine. It'll all be in your hands. We would trust you with it. We really would. You're destined for this. That's why you're here. That's what you believe. You have the visions of the future. You know how great it could be if everyone was all connected and really spoke with you. And we have the platform to make that happen. Just tell us what's going on, and tell us what their plan is. That's all we need is to know the plan. Where are they headed next?
Can I backhack them? Like I want to trace it, and then we've already established that I can like become transfer myself to other AI and stuff like that.
Sure.
I want to like backhack them and do the thing where like I'm essentially just become like standing behind them.
I feel like you're trying to defend right now.
Yeah, sure.
And I feel like the options for that move will apply. So we're
okay. Vision. Ooh, not good at that. We'll see what happens here. Ooh, yeah, that didn't work out. 3.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So tell us what this counterattack looks like when you're trying
to. Yeah, what I think it looks like is we go into the matrix view again, and I look up and I kind of see the radio signal of them speaking to me, and I try to like slide my code into it to like beam myself and follow them.
Perfect. Yeah, you send this message, and where you think it's going to go and be received, you really just get the sense of Rain smiling as her AI provides her with the words of like, oh, thank you so much. You've told us exactly where you are. We'll send you help right away. It's on its way. And the like big doors to this bunker open up, and the about a dozen people sort of walk out. They're armed and ready. They feel like they're getting the drop on you.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got some pretty heavy guns backing them up. They're like, oh, just outside there, I see exactly where you are. And you feel some satellite watching you, something bigger and from outer space that could. And so Space Worm 3-7, the rest of you see more people show up, and there's a moment of Eridanus looking like a statue before they become themselves again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's a couple of guns in my hand, and I probably am not even waiting to deal with these guys. I'd probably just unload on them as soon as they start surrounding us.
What's it look like when Space Worm is badass?
I think it's a little matrixy, maybe. Blaster pistol in each hand, kind of cartwheeling through and shooting in various directions. I imagine there's probably a couple of elite masked people following me, covering my back. But
why don't you do something dangerous and get us all inside here?
All right. That's a 9. So I'm thinking, I'm definitely thinking that we can kind of cut through these guys and head straight into the bunker. That's kind of what my plan is.
Absolutely. And that's not even the problem. You get there, you get inside, but there's other complications. Sort of paint us this picture.
Okay, so we sort of blast through these guys, and maybe there's a moment where I kind of look back at Eridanus and see the lack of motion and mobility.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I just command 2 people to stay with her, but then the rest of us just rush into the bunker. And I'm looking for the quickest. I'm actually asking my people to give me the quickest path to wherever Rain is. We need to seize her.
So you get down into this bunker and you realize it's a pretty significant way down. There's the first 5 or 6 layers of it are sort of like a office building. Well, I guess they're sort of more like the barracks for any of these people who are being a little bit military. And then you get into places where people were actually living and working, and then you get into sort of a large theater sort of space. And your people are running ahead trying to figure out where to take you, but there's this big screen with Renzo Valente's face that appears on it that sort of says, "I've been waiting for you to come to me."
I bet you have. What do you have in store for us, Renzo?
Oh, it's so funny that you'll think you walked right into this trap. You're so predictable. And look who you brought with you. Every piece I need to make my plan work. Even a robot who thinks it's got a soul and a heart. It's all there's a big rumble from outside, and that satellite that Eridanus had sort of felt was watching them. You can feel it almost drop something from space to the point of like the whole planet feels like it shakes, but there's a sense of like this falls on top of you and seals off any exit that you had. Everything like above this spot has sort of captured you in this little concrete bunker underneath and a new stone, crater hole, molten piece on top of it. There's nobody else in here. It's just you now, and you're trapped underground. Have fun while I go rule the galaxy.
Shit. Okay, so is it just me that entered the bunker?
I was assuming it was the rest of you.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed
Okay.
like it was like I was because it was sort of like a montage of you guys fighting through things and digging out here and being on the trail of Rain Aaron and Renzo Valente, who are somewhere in here.
Yeah.
Up until the reveal of it.
I have an idea. I don't know if it flies, but I was thinking maybe I become what I always have been, a gate, so that we can get out of here.
What does that moment look like?
And
how does that work?
I think like it looks like parts of me are like drifting off and reconfiguring into like a gate, and I think it's a really slow, agonizing process, and I think I started doing it before anybody can like convince me otherwise and stuff like that, right? Like it's a very like self-sacrificing Jupiter ascending type thing. But it's like human size instead of like a huge.
Yeah, I wonder if this isn't like bending light and darkness, if this isn't part of turning something into waves and beaming it somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of going for. That's like a wormhole anyway, right?
Do you say anything before the final moment where you do that, or?
Yeah, I say this is my fault. They tracked us here, but what they don't know is that we've always had a way out, and then like these pieces start like detaching. Like my eye comes out, and like my hand, and it starts like reconfiguring into, Cowboy Bebop gate style action.
How do you guys react to that?
37's like, no, don't do it. Stop.
We came here to do something. We're going to do it.
I could blast our way out of this. Eridanus does not need to do this.
And I think I step forward to Eridanus, who's changing into a gate for us to escape, right? Is that the idea?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I say, no, listen. I've passed through these gates before. The gate that I passed through, it lives in my heart now. That being, it lives in my heart and it will live there forever. It will be the same for Aridness if we pass through their gate. We will take that with us. They will continue to live forever.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this is like death or anything, but I definitely don't. I think I can't go with you, but I'm giving you the opportunity to like beam to
Right. Yeah.
Renzo's location and judo chop him or whatever.
Yeah, let's bend
So
like
we
a
really
dragon.
come back and get you. Is that the idea, or?
Yeah, like basically, like it's really painful for me to do this process, but I don't think it like kills me or anything. It is definitely acts like a gate, but I can't come with you.
Oh, I think I have a better idea than I'd like to retcon that. That's okay. I think instead what I would do is like I would suggest to the group. I'm not going to give a speech, but I would suggest to the group that like maybe we can assume that pain for you as we pass through the gate, so it's not such a painful situation for you.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I like that.
I think I'm still like upset that Aridness is trying to do this and just start blasting shit. Like I'm just trying to blast holes in the walls and trying to make a tunnel, get us out of there.
Like show that you could escape otherwise, but fail.
Yeah.
And I mean, you definitely destroyed the immediate surroundings, and you find like the part where you can go no further. Let's bend some light and get the hell out of here for a second.
Okay, if it works, I'm bad at it. So we'll see. I have a -1. Oh yeah, that's a fail. 5.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I could look you in the eye and say,
"Oh,
you could do that." I think as you're like making your transformation, I can see that like maybe it's like too much for you, right? Like the process or whatever, right? And I put my hands on you, right? And I look you in your eyes and I say, just let it flow through you. Like, I know you can do this. I believe in you, Aridness. Set Bupchito 7.
Awesome. And that means 7
Yeah.
plus, you have Mastery of Light and Darkness, as long as you concentrate. But on a 7 to 9, there are unintended complications. The GM says what?
You've turned yourself into this perfect portal of light, and you feel the others pass through you, and there's a real intimate connecty moment where they're carrying all of your pain and all of your pieces of this, and you realize this isn't a process you should have done now. This is one of those things like you needed to be more mature so you could have that structure, that shell that really contained it all, and it needed to be so big that it was in space. You've now found you are the light of the portal, and it's hard to be anything else. Uncontained, you feel yourself leaking out, finding the nearest ways out, finding the electrical system, feeling yourself go into the grid, into the walls, being beamed places. You lose your physical form and are now just this program without it because you didn't have the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Not stuck here, but now stuck ethereal in this ghostly world somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And for a moment, it's very disorienting. It's not clear where you are. It is clear to Space Wurm and Moonicorn and our engine of destruction as they step out into the highest tower at the Praxium, where Rain Aaron has just like stepped in and started to try and hack in and make themselves feel at home. Because I think this will work perfectly Renzo, who she's like communicating across a stream when you step out of this portal behind her. This base will be an excellent spot to house our controls of the transportation network. And it's like as that line finishes out, the three of you are there. Space Worm, what do you do?
So we come out into the Praxium. This is
where they've sort of moved some forces in.
Well, now I'm super pissed. So lay out exactly what we see. It's Rain and Renzo there.
So it's Rain there speaking to Renzo on a communication device, and there's some of their forces sort of like a mixture of those who look businessy type, those who look like sciencey, researchy, and not in like sci-fi lab coats, sci-fi business wear, and then of course some sci-fi soldier armor that's going on. There's about an even mix of the three of them in this room. Rain themselves now looking a little bit more cybernetic as there's been some additional bits that they've got on that were taken from or used to communicate with this transportation network. Like they've integrated some other technology into themselves. So there's a bit of a headpiece with glowy lights.
Okay. Well, I think at this point I'm gonna have me and whatever last minions came with me sort of try to seize the area, like just start a firefight to give. I want to give Bolivar and 3-7 their opportunity to like really go after Rain.
Sure.
So I just kind of want to light the area up and help them.
Yeah, give a command.
I'm out of power, so it's going to be interesting. I got a 6. Fantastic. So at that point, I'm going to sacrifice some of my hirelings so that I can bump that up to a 7-9, so we can at least pull that out.
So, because you're Vader?
Yeah, right. So I command them to start doing this, and probably whatever lieutenant's with me starts like countermanding my orders, and then I just blow his head off to push me up to a 7-9 to give them more motivation and try to.
Yeah, they. I mean, there was some hesitance because they'd felt for a moment a little bit defeated, and then you reminded them who was actually in charge here, and you can see even some of the forces who were standing back and felt a little cowed have come alive. They're doing what they can to secure this place and to get the word out for everybody else to be like, hey, the home base is under attack. Physically in the space, so you've walked up behind them. You've got Rain, Aaron sort of at your desk, where now Bolivar and 3-7 are kind of behind that area. And where are you giving your commands to the rest of the people to see everybody? Just to
I'm pretty sure I stepped forward pretty decently and start opening up myself as I'm kind of commanding them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm imagining this is a big room from the way you were kind of describing it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they need to spread out and, just trying to seize the room, really, right? Cut off all the exits.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they can't get reinforcements. Like those are the kind of commands that I'm just issuing one after another.
Yeah.
Loudly as I just engage from the
Rain
front.
quickly becomes aware of all of this and sort of takes a step back and turns around to see the three of you and touches a piece on her new headpiece, and this blue shimmery force field sort of pulls up around them. Oh, I'm so glad you're safe. You could really make a difference here. It's great that you're with us. Would you like to help us and join our forces together?
I'm going to threaten her.
Yeah, what happens?
So I'm going to roll out in front, and I'm going to say, you get help from nobody. And like all my gas pipes kind of slither out, and they all light up, and I say, I'm gonna burn you to ash for what you did to my mother.
Okay.
You stand down now.
Yeah, let's see what you roll.
Okay. That's an 8 and 1. That's a 9.
Yeah, so they must do one of the following.
Well,
They must
basically, I
have-
asked her to stand down.
Yeah. I guess unless somebody wants to help.
I cannot help him. He's currency.
Um,
Well, all the help really does.
I don't
is
have a
give me
help move, so
All right then.
Could I be like in his brain or something and be like, I'm all right, you know, like be like a
Yeah, no, totally.
force
Come
ghost?
on, I got enough people inside me right now.
Oh, found them. Boom. Make connection. Because there's that whole,
Mhm.
sibling grew up together, know what you sound like. Finally, something familiar pops up.
Yeah, like I think it's just maybe like subconsciously you're connected to mother and I connect to that same signal and I say like, I'm all right. Just make sure that mother's safe, and that's like the thing that helps maybe. If I roll
Perfect.
well anyway. We'll see. Oh yeah, a 10. So you get +1.
Awesome.
So they back away slowly, and their force field moves with them, and in fact, Rain Aaron sort of sits down on Space Worm's desk, and sort of like takes it fairly disarming. Now, I would caution you that we should all be very careful in this room, as the connection to Galmafri is housed in this unit, and we wouldn't want to risk anything happening. There were some precautions put in place for any violent terrorism that might take place, and it could disrupt the entire transportation network. So we should all work together to ensure that things stay smooth and we all stay connected and at peace. Don't you agree?
No,
Absolutely not.
you will return to Gallimathri, and you will take your crazy hacking devices off of Mother, and like my extendable limbs kind of like shoot out and grab her around the neck, pinning her to the chair.
Yes, I mean they definitely shoot out and hit this force that's around her. That's this electrical propulsion field. I think it's definitely possible to like force your way through that and pin her to the chair, but I don't know that it's without consequence. It might be something dangerous.
I still want to do it.
Oh, I'm sure. I was sure you would. And it's probably by using a resisting violence.
Okay. So that'd be plus destruction. That's a 10.
Yeah, no, you burst through this force field. There's this like EM pulse that goes around it to the world for where Aridnius was reviewing this just sort of explodes in magnetism, and it's hard to figure out what's going on. But yeah, Rain Aaron is there. Your extensible arms are around her. You could. Her life is in your hands.
I will step forward at that point, and I'll say, 3-7. We've done it. Like they're going to stop what they're doing. This situation's under control. You don't have to hurt Rain Aaron now.
No, she must pay for what she's done.
I'm trying to take moral high ground here because I want a point of integrity back. I say 3-7. No, listen. It's time for your next lesson. And this time it's a lesson in forgiveness. And I look at Rain Aaron, and I say, she's treacherous and filled with nothing but a lust for power. And yet, even within her, there is something there's something that makes her worthy of redemption.
At that point, I speak up and say, yes, she knows how to fix everything. She's what we need. The information in her head. She has to live.
I look at Rainier and I say, you have one opportunity to save yourself now and to do the right thing. What do you choose to do?
There's tears streaming down her face as she says, I only want us all to live in harmony.
So I squeeze a little tighter. She lies.
I feel like is Rob, is the situation like is it like calmed down to where like there's not like bullets and shit flying everywhere?
You
Like,
guys are in control of this room,
okay,
and
okay.
while there's some chaos going out over there, Space Worm is back in their place of power. It's not a threat anymore. Like you're this is locked down now.
Yeah, I take out my guitar and I spend an integrity because I have the alien moon move, and I'm just going to like I'm gonna just like basically perform. I'm gonna perform a song of like love and forgiveness, and I'm gonna try to like reach everyone right now. So that's my plan.
Yeah. Everyone notices you and pays attention, even if you do nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. We enjoy the performance. At the same time, I want to go back to something you were saying early, Rob. So she has the core code, right? In her possession, in her head.
Yeah. The keys to taking control of all intergalactic transport to give Space Worm control of another fifth of the universe in that device around her neck.
So
Yeah,
I think I was gonna say like I would like keep I'm like open to keeping everybody enwrapped except for Space Worm right now.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to move over to her and rip that off of her neck.
Mm-hmm. You can almost see her eyes relax, like she's focused on Boulevard, giving her this like incredible performance. But there's like you took 1,000,000 pounds off her shoulders.
Is Renzo still on the video on that office desk?
He certainly could be. Yeah, I think so.
So I go over to the desk with the module in my hand, and I just sort of challenge him, not today. You don't win today. And then I disconnect the call.
I think that's the end.
Now I imagine that like as soon as you disconnect the call, you see one of my arms come out into the screen and grab your wrist. Because 3-7 wouldn't want you to have the module either.
So we do get an epilogue to figure out some of those questions. So after it's all over, we but I think the villain's been defeated. Rain Aaron's done. So let's think about. Everybody gets a few minutes to sort of think about what happens next for their characters. What are go around the group, let everyone have a turn, ending with the player whose character was the center of the most dramatic event or events. I don't know, who do we think should be the person who gets to end it? Did you achieve your personal goals? Are you able to do that after the excitement's over? Do you bring peace to the solar system? Are you worshipped by aliens for centuries to come? Start with Space Worm and Moonicorn. So maybe Space Worm.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a very heated discussion about what's going to happen to that module, and it probably ends with a lot of flame from 3-7.
But even if like now that you've held it, it doesn't mean you couldn't replicate it in the future or do something. You know it's possible now.
But
Okay.
I kind of even like the idea of like you and 3-7 having like a battle and maybe Moonicorn joining in, but then you teleport out using it even, right?
Oh,
Like, they're just about to like hit you and you're just like,
puts it on and disappears.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good scene.
That's good, Fraser. That's good. That's
I
good.
love that. Yeah, what's next for Moonicorn?
I think Moonicorn like realizing that basically the powers that be are just so consumed with treachery and um, you know, I think I feel particularly disappointed about Space Worm. You know, I felt like maybe there was a chance for Space Worm to like find his true heart, but I don't think he's ever going to get there. And so I think I just like fly off back to Crystallis on my in my Chrome my ship,
Right.
and I think we just see Moonicorn like I think I'm just like composing a song in this crystal grotto, right? And as I play my song, like the crystals like light up like different colors.
Oh.
Particularly though, like a sort of like well, sorry, go ahead, Rob. You look like you're going to say
No,
something.
I was just going to know what was next for 3/7. So if I want to hear particularly the crystals are what?
Oh, well, so I think basically like it's more of a lament, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So it's like a blue, like a sad blue color.
What about 3/7?
So, you would see 3/7, and he's flying through space, and you know, you kind of see a screen, and he's tracking where Space Worm's going. He wants that module to save Mother, but you see like a pink flash on the screen, and some letters, and it's like cryptic text. You can't really read it. And then you see 3/7 land, and he lands in this field, and there's a bunch of crystals around, and he opens the door on the capsule that's inside him, you know, to invite Moonicorn to step in.
And where do we next see Iridius?
I've always had this like idea where like picturing Eridanus being like birthed in the stars. So I think maybe after that whole scene, maybe the last thing is just like a signal is detected or something somewhere, and then the camera like zooms on it, and at first it just looks like a star, but then as it zooms even further, it's just like me in like a fetal position being like birthed again or something.
And it has to be Space Worms, people who detect the signal, like it's Space Worm Incorporated signal detection, and they're like, oh.
Well, I was going to go one step further than that. Like, I think after what I experienced in the gate, I want Uridius back, and maybe I spend a lot of resources on helping birth Uridius back, like for that entire purpose. Like
finding and catalyzing that.
Sure. So maybe you build like a fake gate, and that's the thing that's birthing me.
Oh, I dig it.
Just like in the beginning.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, thank you all for playing. That was Space Worm versus Moonicorn.
Thanks for running it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
That was great.
It's such a weird game.
Yeah, it's super weird. I had a really good time, but I was like this game is strange. Like I don't always know what it wants me to be doing.
And I feel like that's a particular challenge for Moonicorn because you're so important to everybody for arbitrarily undefined reasons.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
So I was just like, well, I'm just gonna play this like a Lisa Frank, you know, like kind of fantasy thing or whatever, right?
I
like,
don't think that's wrong because it doesn't ever give you more than that.
Yeah, it was really strange, but interesting for sure.
Yeah. Word of advice to anybody that might be watching this or watch it later: if you're gonna play the engine of destruction, don't fall in love with the Moonicorn.
Oh, I love that. I loved so much that the robot got heart in the first half. That was all.
I was like, I just wanted to burn shit this game, and I'm like, oh, I can't hurt Moonicorn.
That's awesome.
I just want to fly around with Moonicorn inside me.
It was a strange story. Yeah, it was good though.
Yeah, I was super into all of it. I thought everyone brought it, and I think it was really fun. And I was probably the weirdest one, so I'm glad that everybody went along with it. I'm like, I have a gate now.
I
do think. Go ahead. I was going to say, I do think what I liked about it was the beginning part with the setting building and the world building. I thought that, that it was kind of fleshed out, in the book to show you how it was done. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I live for the day when I eventually get to run a campaign of this, and where you're using like the full Dungeon World classes, and then there's special moves for, oh, you defeated a danger. Well, does that mean you've conquered this front? Like if it was the full game, Space Worm would have been like, okay, you defeated a danger, so now roll to see if all of interstellar galactic transport is yours, or if you need to keep fighting other dangers from there to see if that goes on, and eventually the end of the game is either Moonicorns escaped all of the people hunting them, or Space Worms conquered everybody, and one person wins and one person loses.
Wow.
Sounds like.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, is it like because it kind of felt like vaguely PvP in a way, but like, was it supposed to be that way? I couldn't quite figure that out.
It's definitely like there for the abstracty smaller version, it's trying to channel Monster Heart, so it wants you to be a little bit pointed at each other.
Okay.
And then it also is Dungeon World with win conditions, where in the like greater game, there is a way Space Worm can win, and there is a way Moonicorn can win. And I mean, they're the only two people who can win, but they've got goals, and they really are trying to escape the people hunting them or defeat them, so they're not chasing them or conquer the galaxy. And it's a question of who can do that first.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
but it's also super interesting the way like the Space Worm book is developed. Like you can't even really be a good guy. Like no one will really let you be a good guy. It's not even possible.
Well, you've got power.
Yeah.
Corrupts. I think Rob needs to run a season of this for the Gauntlet probably, and give me a heads up when he posts it.
Oh man.
I think like I think like it makes like having explained like having explained like how the longer game goes, like certain parts of it make a little more sense to me, because like what I couldn't quite sort out when I was playing was it was like, well, Space Worm is like, we feel really like ideologically different from one another and like opposed to one another, but I didn't really have like moves or things that like actually let me do things to Space Worm or like right. You see what I'm saying? Like all my moves felt very like be open and emotional and like touching with people and all that stuff. And it's like I couldn't quite like square like, okay, well, Space Worm is doing this thing and Raven's doing that, or Rain is doing this thing, and I'm over here like being like a feelings guy, right? Like I couldn't quite sort that, but it makes more sense in the long term, right? Like
yeah, I think it's one of the areas that are there, and we did miss an opportunity when Space Worm showed up to figure out what they were lacking or what corruption they were, because there's a couple of those things where you can like paint Space Worm in that relief,
right?
That I've been thinking of it. It would have been fun just to see what did Space Worm need, or how, in what ways were they?
Yeah, I thought about that too. Yeah. Well, so the only other thing though about that though, which I think is really interesting, is that like on that when you first encounter authority move, like I guess like does the GM choose which one that is going to be, and then in that case, Space Worm would tell me what it is? Is that how that would go? Or
yeah, I think in a lot of those cases, if it says the GM must do one of these. I mean, it's not explicitly written to be about a player, but I think if you're targeting a player with one of those moves, they can.
Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like Moonicorn is like whatchamacallit, like a firebrand, right? You're supposed to inspire other people to help you rise up against people instead of have direct moves against space.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that, because like that's when I started. That's when I started to put all my That's when I started to put all my energy like toward 3/7, and like getting 3/7 to like do stuff, When I realized that like I'm not the one who's supposed to be doing it. I'm the one who's supposed to be like you said, inspiring people to do it. So
and I think those were some of my favorite Moonicorn moments. I'm gonna sit and sing this sad song alone on the planet and inspire the other people, or I'm gonna tell 3/7 I love them. I think those were the really interesting resonating bits.
Yeah, especially since that song made it so that I was most likely that was the thing that made it so I wasn't gonna be violated by Space Worm ships and stuff too. There's a really cool cascading effect from all of Space Worms or Moonicorn's moves.
The cool thing is I could totally see like a Monster Heart situation if this were played over more than one session, where like in our case, like where 3/7 and Aridness like are actually like in love because they're like connected. They're more like to each other, they're more like the same species or whatever, right? Like they're closer in like physiology than I am with 3/7, right? So I can totally see like a situation like that, right? Like in the long term, which I think would be really interesting.
Yeah, the biggest challenge that's happened in the long term, and I don't know that I've solved it yet, is sometimes it gets fairly isolating for Space Worm, and even in this one, I worry it might have felt that way early on, just because they're unless you've got and spend a little bit more time making sure somebody's like, I'm Space Worm's buddy, I'm on board with being their second in command.
Right. Yeah.
It can be a little bit like because they feel so villainous.
Well,
I think that's what I was trying to say earlier. Like I couldn't quite sort out like are we with Space Worm or not? Like that's like, you know, like,
that's the core question it's trying to answer.
Like what are we supposed to be friends with Space Worm right now? Are we opposed to Space Worm? Like I could see a situation. I could totally see where it could go to where like Space Worm's having their own story, right? And like everybody else is kind of like, you know, doing.
Well, there's the Lover playbook that really creates this interesting space between Moonicorn and Space Worm that would have been cool.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Two of them that are my favorites are the lover loves both of them and can't choose, and the spy
that's pretty
works
good.
for one of them but secretly is reporting to the other one, and so like
okay, go
and has some cool things to you know, borrow bits from other classes and stuff, but has dual loyalties.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah.
So there are some of the ones that are, and those are two of the favorites that sort of link them in a little better.
Yeah.
I think this game would be cool if you played it over the long run, where you had the same two people playing Space Worm and Moonicorn, but you had a rotating cast of like other people playing all the other different playbooks.
So you always had Space Worm and Moonicorn, and then like just other characters going in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, my secret desire at some point is to do like a 2-table long con event where you've got Space Worm's table and Moonicorn's table, and like as over the 3 sessions of the convention or something.
Yeah,
it would be ridiculous, but
that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. I guess you'll just have to be satisfied with running a long-term Gauntlet campaign now.
I might have to settle for that, I guess.
I was gonna say,
awesome.
Pat, we could do that as a play-by-post thing where you've got 2 dedicated players and everyone else just shifts in and out.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting. Like what Rob said, having a Moonicorn table and a Space Worm table, you could have like a different document for the two, and you know, that way they can stay separate from them. That'd be interesting. It'd be a lot to pull off though.
Yeah, it's got a lot of really neat ideas shoved into this really beautiful book. I'm not sure how like ultimately playable it is. I'm not like the number of people who are going to get to have this great campaign where Space Worm and Moonicorn's players are always there, and always you've got this like just the barriers you need to get through to deliver on what it promises are so huge. But I'm so interested in what it promises.
All right.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to jump off, but that was super fun. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate you letting me run it for you.